nose trimmer ever, bro.
All right, time out.
So what were you saying? You bought your future husband Harry Balls a Harry Ball kit. What was it that you were going over, Yaz?
The nose trimmer and the razor, bro. You could literally like never like cut yourself with that shit. I was watching Austin like be rough as fuck with his shit, and it was like not even hurting him.
Oh wow! Oh my bad. We're live. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Yaz and her hairy balls. This, that, and the third. This is the new Blerd order. Just in case you were wondering, no, it's not Martha Stewart for your nuts. This is actually a show about comic book stuff, believe it or not. Which Yaz was saying that she got some fresh. I think it was a Thor ball cream shaver for your husband. What was that?
Thor
Talking about the balls. Cream. What were you saying about the balls? Yes, the balls.
I was saying that if you have hairy problems with your man, buy him Manscaped. Your life will be way happier.
All right, and just to make it even more spicy, we're gonna bring Yaz's mom in. So how do you feel about the manscaping? You know what? Let me just take a step back. Good morning. Just so you know what's going on behind the scenes. What's going on behind the scenes before we get started. It's the night quite. We're talking about things that we have and don't have. I don't have hair on my head, but Tyrone's got enough for all of us. Tyleem as well. These two guys right here. I mean, good grief. We can start a whole Just For Me commercial just with them two alone. Like, give me a break, man. Come on, bruh. Like, yo, we need more dudes of color with hair like yours in the MCU. Hallelujah. You know what I'm saying? If we could make that happen. You hear that, Kevin Feige? Go ahead and put that together, man. Oh, good morning, by the way. What's going on, Tyrone? How you doing, man? How you living?
I'm great. I'm really into this whole Harry Balls conversation. This is my wheelhouse. Like I live in that world.
All right, Tyrone.
You like how serious face you got?
What's up, Ty, bro? How you, man?
I just want to say that my balls have a dark season, and so we keep it pretty smooth around here. But for all those people out there with Tyrone Thornhill problems, you know what I mean? Please listen to Yaz and get that Manscaped, man. The one thing you don't want to hear in that special moment is,
oh my God! Oh my God! Yo, there is a lady present. You late guys, what is going on right now?
Is it like, do you guys have like the 70 bush, or do you have like the African bottom?
Wow.
The question is, do you have like the normal one, or do you have like, you guys seen Harold and Kumar go to Guantanamo Bay, right?
I just want to say I regret reopening this door. I'm sorry. I apologize greatly to the people watching and your children.
If I may, this is the new Blerd order, not the new balls order. So let's go ahead and get this back in scope. Thank y'all for joining us this morning. We're bringing in our special guest, but let's get it started the way we usually do. See ya. All balls aside, it's been a great week. I have no idea. The comments are asking what the hell they just walked into. I'm asking myself the same thing, Lisa.
That's fair.
Like, I was like, all right, this week on Falcon and Winter Soldier, balls, Harry Balls. I was like, oh, shoot. Is that how we going? All right, anyway, now that we've got our balls in order, we would like to talk about what happened yesterday. Speaking of balls, there's no transition here. I'm trying to, like, Tyrone, I'm trying to find like a good transition where I'm like, segue. You're like, this week, Falcon was walking down the street and, Isaiah's grandson was playing basketball. Speaking of balls, Harry Balls.
Bouncing right along. Let's go ahead and talk about it.
Bouncing right along. All right, so guys, as you remember, last week was a phenomenal week. We got to see Dora Milaje, as they call him, or as I call her, Dora Milaje, at work. And this week we got to see the results of that work. Was they actually came for Cap, or as we call him, Captain, not America, but Chauvin. He came for his shields. And I think that it's about time for us to start the transition from this Captain America to finally getting the Captain America I think everybody's been trying to get. I don't know why it keeps going to Tyrone's face.
I'll be Captain America.
Yeah. But I think this is the Captain America folks are trying. Now, I think that we're finally starting to get closer to Cap being Falcon, like in the actual comics. But it seems like they're going the long and scenic route. This week felt very heartsy, very, very emotional. A lot of content that felt a little more thematic, less action oriented. Don't get me wrong, Tyleem. I know they started off with the action, but it didn't seem too action packed. I want to know how you felt about this episode, bro.
Well, I would disagree with that. I think it was action packed. I think that whole sequence in the beginning was enough for the whole show, to be honest with you. But I really am enjoy. I literally every week have to. I feel like I have to give Kevin Feige his props, because at the end of the day, he is really touching on this, the social dynamic that surrounds the Shield, and why it's so important for Sam to now carry on the Shield despite a conversation that he had, but I'll wait to get into that. But it is really good to see a director really addressing the social dynamic and I think an apparent feel for what's going on in society relevant to his shows.
Yes. What you think about this week's episode?
I just want to literally congratulate Kevin Feige for bringing present problems in our everyday lives, into a way that we all completely it was so organic. I was just like, damn, he's right. I can't argue with him one bit because he's 100% right. And right. I applaud him for that, because he's the only director that's making real shit and appear on screen the way it really happens. And I'm fucking loving it. I'm loving everything about this whole series. I feel like it's breathtaking. It's a breath of fresh air. You know what I'm saying? Every time I watch it, I'm intrigued to find out, what new thing are they gonna put in this episode that's gonna be relevant to what's going on in our actual lives, today. Right. I love the way he's executing it. I think it's very smart. I think it's finally, definitely a right time to put into, some of the real life things happening, with the police and them talking outside, you know what I'm saying? And the police just showing up and they're like, let me see your ID, boy, right. just different things like that. And when he was talking to Isaiah, that conversation, I don't know, I was after I had to pause it after they got done talking, because I was like, damn, that was he's not wrong. Nothing he said was wrong. And it's messed up that he's right. For the last 5,000 years, Black people's history has been erased, and rewritten. And it's just it's horrible to see it, but it's great to see it opening in a new light. That way we all can understand that this shit has not been happening for a little while. It's been happening for a long time, and unless we do something about it, you know what I'm saying, it's just going to keep happening. So I applaud Kevin Feige for that.
Yeah, 5,000 years. That's a long time.
That's a long time.
That's a long ass time. 5,000 years. That's a long ass
time. Jesus was back since Noah's days. We've been fighting this.
The dinosaurs.
Go ahead, Ty. Go ahead, Ty.
I just wanted to say this. Was it just me, or is this the first episode that actually felt more like a movie?
Yeah.
This felt like a movie. This episode to me felt like a movie. And one of the things that I wanted to piggyback off of what Yas said, and really why I raised my hand, was she said that that the fact that the history of Black people and it has been taken from them, and you know, and for 5,000 years.
Back when dinosaurs walked the earth, black people was enslaved before the asteroid came down.
We've been slaves since inception. But what I wanted to say to elaborate on that point is she makes a really good point, because one of the things is that I've been talking about with a good friend of mine lately is that we as a people keep characterizing each other as black people. Mm-hmm. And technically we're not black people. Black is a color. There's no country called black. We are the one people that have been robbed of our own history and where we come from. So the fact of the matter is it got down to the point where Isaiah was saying, like, it doesn't matter what you do. Like you are confused. Like, and I felt like the same as Isaiah did for a lot of this series so far. I was really starting to feel like Sam was just asleep, because every time somebody tried to tell him something, he'd kind of shoot it down when it came to black people. And I was like, yo, what's wrong with you, Sam? Mm-hmm. But this episode, with that conversation and what we saw afterwards of why Sam explained why he wanted to carry the shield, it made a lot more sense for the show. And that's why I said it made it to me seem more like a movie, because it was so layered and so deep in this episode.
Tyrone, what you think of the show, bro?
Oh, I love it. I mean, everybody's hitting all the right targets for sure. I do want to just love Kevin Feige, big shout out. But I do want to also give shout out to the director Carrie Scogland, who has been absolutely killing it. And she's been, I mean, they're obviously having conversations on set. You know what I mean? They're obviously talking through these things. They're having the conversation, capital T, capital C, because they're in there they're touching on things, not even touching on, they're addressing directly things that I don't think I've ever seen done so clearly on TV. Right. You know, we've seen it done metaphorically. We've seen it done, you know, with beautiful imagery. You know what I mean? But this is a different direction, and I wasn't expecting Marvel to just take this turn. And I love it so much. I'm just excited that it's happening, and I'm excited that Marvel's leading the charge like this.
Right. Marvel has done a phenomenal job. If you look at a totem pole, right, and you look at, say, the racial system as a caste system, in the world, we've almost accepted, at least in the United States, that this caste system has black people at the bottom, but Marvel has clearly decided to put black people at the top of this totem pole. At the very least, cinematically. I mean, look at Black Panther. Look at what's going on with Falcon and Winter Soldier. And they even gave Dora Milaje, and I know it is Dora Milaje, but they give them their just due. They're like, yo, look, man, these ladies without super strength is the most likely to not be fucked with as voted in their yearbook in high school. Mati, did you watch the episode, and how you feel about it, if anything?
Yes. Hi, everybody. It's Mati here. DP.
Oh, my bad. Hey, by the way, everybody, introducing the big sister of the new Blerd Order once again, Miss Mati, Lego lady herself. Find her at For the Love of Legos. Please continue.
Thank you. I actually got excited last week because they named my title and my position in my family in the show when he said, I got to talk to my titi. So I was like, yeah, shout out to the titis out there.
Yes. New Blerd, we love all titis. Please.
But as for the episode that they just played last night, I loved it. Everything went so with what's going on currently in society, in the world, and how they addressed it, where you had to at one point look and then realize, damn, you know, this is true. This is what's going on. And yes, I love the fact that he's going to push forward being Captain America. I understood where, and I don't remember all the names, but the older gentleman, when he was saying, I don't give a damn, why should I bother? You know, I understood where he came with that, but I also saw where you have to progress as well, because if you don't, change will never be made.
Right.
And how you just said, Black is a color. and it shouldn't be emphasized as black this or black that. No, we are people of color. It's not just people who just came from Africa. There's people from Asia. There's people from the Caribbean. You know, there's a mix everywhere. And that's how it should be addressed and not put in a negative way. They shouldn't even look at, I grew up I didn't know about skin till in my 20s, to be totally honest, because that's not how I was raised. I was just raised that this person, that person, this family member or such, but I literally was colorblind because I was not raised to see people in shades per se.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's how I raised my kids.
Being that both of her parents were opposite shades as well.
Yeah, both my parents, my families, both on my father, both on my mom. And that's how I raised my kids. I raised them to look at people as who they are and not by the shade of their skin. We just didn't do that. It should never be that way. I used to get excited when we used to take trips because we would see the cows, and I would tell my father when he was driving, look, puppy, that's your cow, being the white one. And I would say, black one was my mom's. And then I'm the chocolate one in between. That's what happens when you mix up the colors. So that's how that was as much as the colors I saw. But we were not raised in a way where you treated someone by the shade of their skin. You treated them by their character or how they treated you. So, but yeah, the episode itself was just beautifully done. And yeah, it did have a movie feel now to it when you said that, but I think it was mostly because it was so outdoors. My one favorite part was when he was calling in those favors. Hey, this is so-and-so's son. Remember back in the day? And they're like, you know, can you do me a favor? I'm calling in a favor. And the community came back in to help, to keep that boat afloat, literally, to put that family back into business. It was like a post that I have posted, I think earlier this week, where back in the day, companies would do the auctions, the banks would do the auctions, and the community would come together and literally strong arm anybody like, don't you dare buy this. They're going to get their property back, or we're just going to get it back from a penny from the auction so we can give it back to the family who worked for it. So we need community to just step up, come together, and get over this whole color shit. Excuse my French.
Nah, yeah. Hey, listen, you feel free to curse in front of your daughter all you like, man. We're having a good time. It's interesting to hear about the different ways that we have been raised to perceive what they call race right now. Race being a term that was coined by a man named Richard Blumenthal. We're learning here on this morning, way back in the day when they wanted to decide to put people in a category, and for what? To make sure that they know which place they should be in, depending on where they reside. This is funny because this next gentleman who happens to be appearing on our show is a mixture of a couple of different races, shall we say. Some of y'all may have seen him performing live on stage at many places, such as the Orlando Improv in Vegas. He has his own radio show on Real Radio 104.1 with the Real Laugh Show. He also has his own TV show. Yes, I said it, TV show, in which he actually has a talk show format for people that may not always get the shine that they deserve in real life. So my man, James Yon, and also, he's launching his new campaign for the Funny Not Famous comedy show that airs on, if I'm not mistaken, Afrotainment on the you know what? I'm going to let him tell you exactly what this is all about, as only he can. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. Funny Not Famous, but famous in my own right, in his own right himself. Please help me welcome Mr. James Yon. What's going on, James? Oh, that's not him.
We look alike, me and Sam, but that ain't him.
Okay, my bad. This isn't him either. My bad. What's up, John Z? What's up, man?
Bruh, thank y'all so much for putting me on this morning. I'm doing great, man. How about y'all?
Yo, we good, man. We out here trying to figure out. I can't, like, Mati just confused me because I thought she was like a person of color, but turns out she don't have skin.
Okay.
We just learned that. She is a boneless chicken with the skin. But anyway,
Gotcha.
but James, I wanted to bring you into that because if I'm not mistaken, you are a mix of cultures as well, right, my friend?
I am. I'm half black, half diabetes. Thank you so much. Woo! Type 1, 2, and 3. All of it.
Come on, James. Come on, bro.
Hey, man, but honestly, man, it's a great conversation because my wife is Puerto Rican. So my kids are a mixture of black, and Puerto Rican and different other things. So we've always dealt with this from the very beginning. Like my wife would take my daughter into the store when she was little. My daughter was really dark. And if you've seen my wife, she is the opposite of dark. She is very light. So people would look and like, ooh, that's a beautiful black baby. Where'd you get it? Like,
Oh my god.
yeah. My wife's like, well, I came out of me. It's my baby. So yeah, man. I grew up in Florida, and I grew up in two parts of Florida, and they're both very different. Let me say that. See, I grew up in Central Florida, which is a melting pot, but I come from Tallahassee, which is basically Southern Georgia. Like it's different.
Yes.
Those are two polar opposite extremes, man. So dealing with race, dealing with color has always been in my life, but I've seen the good, and I've also seen the bad of it. Like I've gone to some places where you would think, like you go to a place like a St. Cloud, and you be like, man, these people are gonna be racist. Everybody's country is hell. But then they will come talk to you, and you'll realize you guys have more in common than you do in differences, and they accept you for who you are. They don't care what color you are. So you just never know walking into places. Like it's like that old saying, you don't judge a book by its cover because you never know what you're walking into. Like that's just my little thing, man. Yeah, but yeah, I'm mixed. I'm definitely mixed.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, don't you have like Asian back in your background or something like that? Or do you?
We not quite sure. We think so because my background with my father, like many black dudes, I didn't see him very much. That brother was a great magician. When I was born, disappeared. Like he was good. Poof. But so a lot of the stuff I'm learning about my background is now. Like I'll talk to like my uncles and whatnot back there, my aunts and whatnot, trying to figure out and piece together like what is my actual like background, nationality, and all that good stuff like that. But it's been fun, like trying to figure it all out. I feel like I'm Batman. I'm a detective trying to figure stuff out.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for bringing your black, your Japanese, and your diabetic side.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm wondering if you watched Falcon and Winter Soldier, and if you had a chance to check out this most recent episode.
Well, let me say this, man. I don't know if everybody on here knows, but Vince, me and you would talk many times. I'm a big comic book geek. Like I'm old. Yeah. I've been waiting a very long time to get to this quality of TV shows and film regarding comic books, because you got to remember, all we had when I was back in the day was the first Superman movie. Remember that one? And then they got progressively worse. Then the fourth one was done by the Cannon Company, and that was horrible. I mean, one of the best comic book movies I had was in 8th grade. I remember in '89, Tim Burton's Batman. Like we can all clown that movie now, but at the time, that was the closest thing we had to a comic book movie who tried to give the comic justice, even though it wasn't exact, translation from the comic book. So I have been waiting a long time to get these movies, man. And it's just, for a comic book fan, it just feels good to be able to see the quality they put into it. Because somebody finally figured out at some point, at some time, we can make great comic book movies. We can make movies that really talk about what's going on in society and entertain at the same time. So to see Falcon and Winter Soldier and some of the social issues they're actually tackling, and they're not pulling punches. Not at all. They're giving it right to you in the gut. It's just amazing. They're not just talking about black people in America either. I love the stuff they're doing overseas and talking about the plights that those people go through, refugees and whatnot. And a lot of times you don't hear about it, but these people have said, you know what? Damn it, we're going to let you know all this shit that's going on, excuse my French, that's going on in the world and why it's not right. I can't believe I'm seeing an American show go after the government, the U.S. government, like this. I'm like, yo, y'all gonna get shut down, man. Y'all better stop. But yo, it's refreshing to see the things that they're willing to talk about now. So shout out to Disney, bro. So I'm enjoying all of it. Yes, I love the show. And I'll say there's two schools of thought, man. When you're watching Isaiah Bradley, the Black Captain America, talk about what he went through, we all got uncles. We all got grandfathers who can tell you similar stories about how the U.S. treated them as people. And you can understand the anger. You can understand the resentment. And then you can see the side with Sam where he's grew up in better times, not perfect times, and he has a more idealistic look on the government and what America could be. So I like that both schools of thought are represented. It's a great debate. It's a great conversation starter. So yes, you asked me, am I enjoying it? Am I watching it? Absolutely, Vince. Love it.
Yeah, man. And it's funny because when you said the old school Isaiah Bradley, he's basically a representation of the Tuskegee experimentation with syphilis and how they did. I mean, there's a lot of misconstruing of the truth.
They did that. They really did that, man.
That's a real life thing.
That's a real thing.
Now, just to be clear, for those who do just kind of read headlines and not articles, the actual what actually happened in Tuskegee wasn't that they were sticking and injecting a bunch of people with syphilis. It was that there were men with syphilis that they put in the trials for vaccinations, but did not make them aware of it.
Yes.
And then these men were not getting better, and they were not telling them they weren't getting better. So they would go back to their communities and spread it amongst the community in their wives and homes. And that's what it wasn't them being injected with syphilis. Just want to get that out there because I know vaccinations is a hot topic right now. So I just want to make sure we're all aware of what actually happened because I know a lot of folks just like to read the headline. But Tyleem, I mean, James brings up a real good point. We have in this episode a clash of generations, right? We've got a guy named Isaiah who was arguably the first Captain America, all right, before Steve Rogers, okay, who speaks his plight. He actually went and prevented a bunch of folks from getting killed and ended up paying the price for it because he says in the episode, those are my people, not a bunch of expendable so-and-so. I don't remember the exact terminology. But then he also says, like, yo, look, man, I ended up going to jail for it. They
30 years
on me, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that is indicative. Meanwhile, fast forward, if you look on the other side of the spectrum, you have one guy who's heralded for being the quote unquote Captain America. Never really gets all of that jail stuff. He even evades jail, has a whole troop that's helping him escape from jail. But does he have that same history? Hell no. And could we say that Steve Rogers, your white privilege is showing? Perhaps we can. Yeah, Tyrone, I saw your hand go up.
Yeah, I wanted to just add to what you were saying. The story that Isaiah Bradley told where he went and he rescued his brothers in arms, that is the story from Captain America, the First Avenger. Steve Rogers literally went and did that against orders. He went behind enemy lines and he rescued his people from Red Skull. And he was a hero because of it. He was, touted as a hero. Isaiah Bradley did the exact same thing and went to jail for 30 years. So it's, they're really, really drawing the parallels. I just wanted to throw that in there for you. Yeah.
Oh, nah. I mean, thank you. That's what you're here for. You can go. You can leave now.
Thank you for having me.
But Tyleem, Tyrone brings up a good point too. Like, they literally, according to what Tyrone is telling us, did the exact same thing in terms of their actions, but completely different results. And one of them is on the cover of a bunch of magazines, on the cover, and is heralded as the representation of the United States. Meanwhile, the other one definitely represents the black plight in the United States. What say you, my friend?
I don't know. I see that that's the route they're going with Sam. But I think Sam is so conflicted. Like Sam, I think Sam has one of those complexes, and I think they spoke to his complex when he was having the conversation with his sister. Sam said something really, really powerful. If you listen to that conversation, he said, I know you thought I was always running. Like, so when someone says that, and you have to think that his version of himself is someone who has not always, taken the ball and run with it. He's more of a person that, he feels like I'll do it if it comes down to it. Like, I'm more of a defensive rather than an offensive person. And his sister was saying, nah, that's not the case. You took on both jobs and did a great job of it. So I think that that little insight that he had with that conversation with his sister allows you to understand why now it's important for him to take the shield and run with it. Because once she reaffirmed to him who he was, and he realized like, oh wow, you know what I'm saying, that was profound to him. So at that moment, I think, you know, everything that he was working towards, it made sense. You know what I'm saying? Like he started working real hard. You know what I'm saying? You saw him running and working out and doing everything he could do to be the, you know what I'm saying? He's doing flips and, you know what I mean? Like, which I'm going to be honest with you. Like that part really bugs me because at one moment you can throw the shield and it can go into a tree. The next moment you can throw it, it can bounce off the tree and come back to you and somehow you can catch it. I don't like that part.
Yeah.
That part, like, I'll be like, nah, dude. Nah, man. But
there's a dude with a steel arm, and you have a problem with the shield. There's Wakandans just walking around in spaceships.
There's a whole lot going on.
A whole lot going on. It's unbelievable.
It is weird. It is weird though how they treating the shield like a frisbee and just kind of throwing it around. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
and you know,
as a comic book, as a Captain America fan, that has always been the running gag and joke that even Spider-Man said in the Civil War, like that shield doesn't follow any laws of physics. Does it? like
I saw that last night.
Yeah, that is not supposed to happen that way. And Captain America's rule has always been if he throws the shield, it always comes back to his hand. Mm-hmm. Don't know why that is. Nobody can explain it, but that's just one of them rules. Like if you that's just what's supposed to happen.
Yeah, well, it's not Millionaire. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
it's not that.
You know,
it doesn't boomerang physics into it.
Yeah, physics. It's physics. It's complete bullshit. And I'm cool with it. You know,
I'm cool with it. Yeah, I'm down.
But the visual is beautiful. The visual is beautiful.
It is. And I think that's
when I saw him catching that one time with both hands, I was like,
your hands would have been off. You would have been fingers gone. Just right there like this. Like, ooh, I should have did that.
You know what's really funny about that whole scene? I liked how, like, at first, you know, they were like you guys said, they were playing frisbee with it. You know what I'm saying? Like hanging out, having a passive conversation, you know, just like passing it back and forth and stuff. And then all of a sudden you go to him training and he's throwing it at it and like throwing it at like different stuff. And then he's ducking, like moving out of the way of that shit. And then the next thing you see him, you know, doing all the push-ups and everything. And then he's like catching it like a gangster and stuff. And I'm like, Yes
is right. Like the you know, when him and Bucky was sitting there throwing it back and forth like it was a softball, it wasn't nothing. Yeah. But then when he's doing his Rocky 80s
montage,
literally
freaking montage, you know, it was like all of a sudden you can't catch the same frisbee you've been throwing with your homeboy for the past day. Yeah. All of a sudden, Ivan Drago has you
it that hard between each other. It was more passive, whereas now in his training, he's more like, you know, Thundercats. Oh,
nah, they were yoking that shit at the tree. Mom, stop playing games. You saw them full-fledged, muscles pumped, just like, huh! And then the other one's like catching it, and then
that
like,
was.
They were straight.
I will say,
he's throwing it the same way. He's throwing it the same fucking way.
I will say that is the coolest game of catch I've ever watched in my life. It was, bro. That was like, I'm like, yo, what if we can pull that off? No, we can't. But yo, that was the coolest game of catch between two dudes I've ever seen. So I loved it.
And I think also what I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead, Ty.
I think one thing they were trying to get across with the scene though is that once Sam decided that he was going to try to take up this mantle, he didn't just grab the shield and just take off and start going over there beating people with it.
Yeah.
You know, he took the time to learn it, to understand it, to earn it. You know what I mean? And I think that's why that montage happened. So we could see Sam coming to terms with the fact that, okay, I'm going to need to be at a certain level. I need to be at a level where I can proudly carry the shield. And I thought it was a really cool way to, you know, to kind of portray that. But, you know, I understand that, you know, sometimes the frisbee shield gets under people's skin or whatever, but I love the metaphor. Thank you, Marvel, for giving us that. Yeah,
absolutely. What's going on with Sarah and Bucky too? What's that little chemistry?
Right? Oh my! Stop flirting with my sister, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Bucky's favorite holiday is Valentine's Day because he apparently like chocolate. That's what I see.
We know he got jungle fever, dog. We know he got jungle fever.
Bro,
Yeah,
I love black women.
There's some high key.
Did you see his smile? He was like,
hold on. There is some high key jungle fever coming from Bucky. I think he might have got broke off when he was in Wakanda.
Oh, you think? Bro,
I think he might have definitely got broke off when he was in Wakanda, and my man is addicted now to that.
Yeah, he is. He bit his bottom lip like, "What's up, Sarah?"
He hit him with the John B joint, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Hold on, bro. And then Sam had to like, yo, hold on, bro. You know what I'm saying?
He pulled the Spidey first. Hey,
look at how he's looking at him too. That shit was great. That was so great.
Yeah, can I want to ask Tyleem a question real quick because I want to bring this back to the first time we started talking about this after the first episode, and you were like, man, I don't know about Sebastian Stan, I don't know about this dude as an actor, blah blah. So I wanted to see where you stand on that.
That's my dude.
Yeah. That's a good question.
I mean, look, because this is not even about his acting. I think I like it. I just like him. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like his acting is, he doesn't do a lot, man. Like, I don't like that part is like, you can't really rate what he does because it's everything that he does is so short. You know what I mean? It's just like he doesn't have a lot of dialogue scenes.
That's his character, though.
Vince, which button takes people off the screen? I got it.
That's why I said I can't really rate. Like at first, and during the one long dialogue scene that I saw was when he was with the psychologist. That was like the longest dialogue scene I've seen in an entire show. And when we were talking about that show, I rated that dialogue scene, and I said that I did not like his acting based on that dialogue. So at the end of the day, that's what I've been rating him on. Like, there's nothing else to rate him on. He hasn't really had no long dialogue scene.
Ty, he just had a long scene in this episode talking to him about his whole, like, how when Sam gave up the shield, he felt like he gave up the last bit of his family. So I'm lost in translation on how you don't think he has any parts where he's talking, because he's talking. It's not like he's not talking. I just feel like you're focusing more on the parts where he has little snippets and he's like, being cheeky and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like, I feel like that's the part where you're just like, but like, I mean, that's his character though. He's dry. You know what I'm saying? Like, have you ever seen like comedians like Anthony Jeselnik? They have dry humor. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just their demeanor. That's who they are. So, I mean, that's just, if you look at it like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, you'll understand his context as a character. Like, he's dry. That's just how he is. You know what I'm saying?
Ty wants every character to be like Leslie Jones and Coming to America too.
Oh my God.
That wouldn't be bad. That wouldn't be a bad thing. That would not be a bad thing. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying. But again, like, I even with those scenes that you're referring to, like, it's not a lot of dialogue from him, man. But at the end of the day, like, that's cool. Like, I get what you're saying.
So I think he did more. Like, when you look at like the first 5 minutes of episode 4, like when he was sitting by that campfire in Wakanda and they were testing the words on him, he did more with just his face than a lot of people can do with 2 pages of script. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, I just wanted to give that man his flowers after he was kind of slandered in the beginning. You know what I mean? I want to make sure that we appreciate Bucky, and the turn has been amazing. His story has been real fun to watch.
Translation: Tyleem's opinions do not represent the opinions of the entire New Blerd as they never do.
I think Tyrone's back this episode. He's more optimistic. Last one was a little dark, but
everything is awesome.
Okay.
What's up, Matty?
I think with Bucky, you also gotta remember the scene where he was at the bar and the Asian gentleman told him, "You need to get out. You need to find somebody." Yeah. Remember, he's like 100 years old, so his whole perspective on how a man should be is nothing in comparison to how they are now from back compared to back then. So
Right.
for him to try to get into a conversation, it's like your great grandmom or dad is trying to like, you know, yeah, I'm chilling with the kids and we can speak this lingo, and they're gonna be looking at you like, I'm listening, I hear what you're saying, I'm not grasping it, because when I was your age, those weren't, you know, how we functioned. That wasn't
Right.
how the properties that we had available to us. So I'm seeing Bucky as he still feels like he said, I lost everything. All I have is left is that shield that connects him to his time. He's literally like here from another time. He's still here from another time. So he's trying to, I feel for me, he's trying to adapt. Back then, there was a lot of mix going on in World War II with the races and whatnot. So I can understand where he's got the jungle fever, which I love him for, because it's, again, it's not, he's trying to break that barrier and he's trying to show it. But with him not having that much dialogue, I mean, try to figure yourself 100 years from now, trying to have a dialogue with somebody. So many things will happen between now and then. How do you feel you're going to be able to speak if you were frozen for most of it and then brought back out and now you're adapting to it? So I think that's where they're going with Bucky on that.
Well, if I may, real quick, James, just because I know you watch and everything, but just to kind of bring you up to speed, Tyleem, who we call Bad Ty, the one on the top, all right, is not too impressed with the acting of the guy who plays Bucky.
Yes,
now,
Sebastian. Yeah, got it.
Yes, Sebastian Bach. Now, I mean, I call him Sebastian Bach. I don't think that's what his name is, but
Sebastian.
Yes, Sebastian Stan, my bad. So we as the remainder of the cast are not in agreement. I don't know how you feel, but I actually think that he's holding it down. I don't think that he's meant to be, you know, this boisterous character with loads of personality. He's a dude who is working through his deprogramming as he was a freaking killer that didn't even realize what he was doing, and now he's trying to maintain a level playing field with his mind. What do you think, James?
Well, you got to think about, like you started to bring up, you got to think about who his character is. He's a dude that's literally tortured every day. He was made to commit some of the worst atrocities in history. He killed Iron Man's parents. He killed so many people that he had no control over. So I think if you think about that in a person's characteristics, you would almost not talk a lot, because you don't think that you deserve to be happy. You don't think you deserve to be hanging out and just talking with people, having a good time, because all the things you've done wrong. You wouldn't say much because you would feel like you don't deserve to even be breathing at that point. Like, I'm sure he's considered death many times, but what drives him is I'm trying to make up for all the bad things that I've done. I think so. He wouldn't be a happy person at all. He wouldn't talk a lot. You wouldn't be really chatty if you had gone through the hell that he had to go through for all those years. So I kind of dig, and I like what he does as far as an actor. I think he portrays a lot of different emotions with his actual his looks, just the way his mannerisms, I guess you would say, without having to say a lot. That's more to his credit than a detriment, I think. So I think as an actor, he's amazing. I'm loving what he does.
Tyrone.
Yeah, both my teams touched on the conversation that Bucky and Sam had, and I thought that was probably for me is the most important scene I've ever seen from Marvel. What they did in that conversation was they literally gave us an instruction manual on this conversation, on how to deal with it. Bucky said in no uncertain terms, he said, "I'm sorry. I owe you an apology. I could not have understood what it's like for you as a black man to wield that shield." When he said those words, and he said them clearly, and he said them just to Sam like that, I was like, damn, they just gave America an instruction manual on where to start this conversation. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, they were just like, look, he said, I'm sorry. I could have never known. I'm sorry. And that was that. You know what I mean? Like, they had this beautiful moment. And shout out to Marvel, shout out to Sebastian Stan, Anthony Mackie. Like, damn, the most important scene Marvel has done thus far. I just had to throw that out there. It really, really hit home.
Yeah, well, I mean, I like that scene. I really like the fact that, like you said, Tyrone, bad Ty, I'm gonna keep calling. There was no mincing in the words, you know, because they could have went real politically correct. They could have been like, you know, a person in your position,
Right.
you know, I don't understand what it's like, all that you've gone through. But he was like, when Cap gave you the shield, we didn't know what it really meant for a black man to have that shield. That was written down on a script. It was passed around. It was table shot, and it was approved, and then it was said out loud on screen on a Disney operated streaming service. So that was 100% intentional. The point they were trying to get trying to come across, I believe, was felt, as you're saying. The only thing about it that I didn't like was I like the South Park rule. I don't know if y'all ever watched South Park, but there was one episode of South Park where Token, the black guy on South Park, was trying to explain to Stan that you can never understand. You can listen and try to comprehend, but you'll never understand. And Stan spends the whole episode being like, dude, I understand, bro. Like, people don't understand, man. So I get it. And Token's like, dude, you don't understand, man. You know what I'm saying? And he walks away until finally at the end of the episode, spoiler alert, Stan goes to him and he's like, dude, I don't get it, bro. I just don't get it. I don't get it. He's like, now you get it.
Now you get it. Now you get it. Yeah.
You have to learn that you can't always comprehend things. Yeah. And in your lack of comprehension is the struggle. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and that's what Bucky in this scene does. He says, yo, look, bro, my bad. I came at you because I considered this Wakandan piece of armor my family, because it's the last remaining piece of I guess armory that I have from my age. You got to keep in mind, like James said, this dude is like 100 years old, and even though he got like you know, he still got young man low key swag like Justin Timberlake and shit. And what's old boy the blurred lines dude
Robin Thicke.
Robin Thicke.
He got low key Robin Thicke vibes. You know what I mean? He's still like yo, man, if you get rid of that shield, that and Cap were like the only things that I had from my whole generation. You know, I grew up with the shield and Cap, and that's it. And you don't even want that. And now he's like, damn, I never even considered. And you know what that's called? Privilege.
Yes.
Like for him to not even realize the delicacy, the intricacy, the complexity that goes along with this struggle is the privilege to not even have to worry about it. And so, Mati, when you say things like, we didn't grow up with color, that sounds like what Bucky's saying, but he's being introduced to that world. So, I mean, does that ring true to you? Does any of that relate to you? I mean, do you kind of get that gist, Mati?
Yes. And again, and I grew up in the Bronx, and then I grew up in Queens, and this is all part of New York City. But I was in a multicultural area where about everybody did look like me and my family, where the minority in all perspective was mostly the white people. So that kind of, again, I was after high school is when I started seeing the bigger picture of the separation of the different races and the different, how they were. And it was sadly that I saw it in my own household from my partner than I did from outside coming in. So it was just weird in the different places we traveled to, but it's hard for me still to understand all of it because again, the way I grew up, I'm still keeping to those values. I see stuff and I'm observant. I don't add on to it and I'll try to make it easier. But even in high school, when I was growing up, when I sat down at lunch, there was no race card. You either sat and ate and you just talk about anything, but don't try to tell me, oh, you're sitting with these people. Like, don't go there. Don't sit here. I'll tell you right now, there's 8 spots. Don't take any of them if you're bringing that to my table. Right. So that's how I grew up. And thankfully, my brothers and sisters from high school, we're all literally, our one unification is the fact that we came from that school and we kept tight like that. So there was we didn't classify anything, just classified ourselves as being from that school. That's about it.
That's so fascinating because my upbringing was completely different. Tyleem, what's up?
I just wanted to touch on it on this because like I want to be clear about this. Like the reason that calling each other black people, and that's where I started this conversation really, well, is because that classification came from white slave owners. We were never considered black. We were considered whatever tribe we were from at that time when before we were taken from our homeland. And that's what I mean in the sense of we have lost, the knowledge of self, of who we actually are. We've identified with this color for so long because that's what we were classified as when we got off the boat, because that's what we were perceived as when we were looked at. We were looked at, we were called darky, we were called black, we were called, you know what I'm saying, chocolate, whatever, all of those different things. I just want to make that clear because like I'm just being clear about that, because it's not just about looking at somebody and and saying, okay, I don't see color, and I don't, I understand that we you can love who you want to love, but I'm talking about as a people, we don't know our own historical value as far as identifying where we come from. There is no country called black. So unless we are, we have a country that we come from called black, then we couldn't identify as the color black. That's what I'm saying. Like we are more than a color. That's all I'm saying.
Well, yeah, we're more than a color, but we're also more than a culture. Like we're not just American culture, we're Caribbean culture, we're African culture, South American culture. But the fact of the matter is, in this particular show, what they're spotlighting is the fact that there is a gentleman who, well, I mean, there's a lot of things being spotlighted, but right now, what we're focusing on is the fact that there's a gentleman who is basically a part of a team that rescues not just America, but the whole earth. You know what I'm saying? He gets done rescuing the whole earth and can't get along and has to use his neighborhood connections to paint his boat. His sister's about to get kicked out of their house, and he's having all of these issues because we can say it more than likely because he's a black man. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, because ain't nobody else having these issues. You never saw Tony Stark having issues with foreclosure. You know what I'm saying? You don't see Bruce Wayne or even Clark Kent on that little estate that they got way the heck out there in Kansas having these type of issues. The first time we are getting introduced to these
they took his mama house. They took his mama house.
Oh,
yeah, they took his mama's house.
They took his mama's house. They took his mama's house.
Who bought it? Who bought the whole?
After they took her house, though, he bought
after they took their house. Yeah, they took that house.
That man bought it after, though.
Yeah.
All right, well, fine. Go ahead and y'all placate to the white man all you want to.
Okay.
I'm just playing.
Okay.
But yeah, okay, all right. So maybe there was a little bit of struggle for Superman for a little bit, but I mean, some of these issues, like him getting pulled over while he was walking while black, some of these things are like real legit issues. And I know Monty is from a different area. Monty,
I'm shocked they put it up there.
Yeah.
What you just said right now, yes, that is happening a lot to a lot of black communities and whatnot. But from what I saw from when they started coming home, or while the whole at 2008 when we were having the whole the foreclosure situation, we had soldiers of all races come home or were still overseas, and these banks were closing down on them. So that part kind of hit me because I'm thinking, as I'm watching Marvel, these guys saved the world under government. So technically they're military, or they work with the military. They're not getting paid per se, which I don't see how that works, because I've worked for the government, and once you start doing a job for them, you got to get paid because it's the law. But the way that they were just not being taken care of, which currently today, still a lot of our military who make so little in comparison to what so much that they're giving, aka the lives on the line. Right. And these corporations are treating them like they're the bad guys, the third world countries, the one that are trying to get over on one. When in fact, that they didn't do what they did or put that uniform on, guess what? That corporation, that company wouldn't be standing. So
That's a good point.
That part of the show when he had to call in favors and when he was at the bank and the loan officer was saying, yeah, so we can't help you, but can I take a selfie with you? It's like, really?
Right.
Oh man, yeah. I got lit up. So
yeah, you're right. You bring up a good point, Monty, because I guess that's almost like the equivalent of thank you for your service, right? It's like, yeah. We know you gave, your arm and your leg and that you left your family, basically on ice, and not knowing whether or not you are alive and not knowing whether or not you're in harm's way. But yeah, thank you for your service. I know you're getting kicked out your house. I know you can't find a job. I know you haven't provided anything for your mental disability, for whatever mental deterioration may have happened as a result of all of the trauma we put you through. But thank you for your service. It's basically the equivalent, right, James? I mean, I don't know if this is what they were intending on conveying in this show, but this is what's coming across. And there's so much left. Like we've only talked about about Falcon and Winter Soldier. We did touch a little bit on Bucky and a little bit of that them trying to slide in the DMs of one soldier. You know what I mean? And I ain't gonna lie, like I was like, oh boy, here he go, man. Oh Lord, my chocolate milk of magnesia. And I'm not even mad at Sam. This looks like the same look like Ty would give you if you looked at like his daughter, like what I'm saying, like hold up, man.
That's my like son that, right? Looking at his best friend who's now engaged to my daughter.
Oh,
that was
go on.
That was that one.
Wow, there is so much to unpack right there.
Wait.
Let me get a suitcase. Hold on.
Hold on, I'm about to watch my stories. Hold on, just a second.
Hey yo,
please continue.
Hey, yo, that sound like that. That sound like that old school. Hey, bro, let me come spend the night at your house, man.
Yeah.
Hey. No, it's more like I'm already like they went to sleep. I showed up after they went to sleep, and then like they woke up and they're like, "When the fuck did you get over here, dog?" And I'm like, "I've been here. What do you mean? I never left." And they're like,
"Left?
Was she here? Did she?"
Whoa. Yo, so let me make sure I heard that right because my hearing is bad. I'm old. You said, and I quote, "It's like your son."
Yeah. Wait.
Checking out your daughter's man? Is that what you said? You say that?
No.
Okay, all right. I missed it.
Show the picture again, and you see how Sam is looking at Bucky when Bucky's looking at Sarah.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
Sam is my son. Bucky is Austin. Yasmeen is Sarah.
Got it. Okay. I thought I heard something.
I thought it was adorable.
We all got it twisted. We all got it twisted.
That says a lot. Yeah. So does that mean that we're there's a marriage coming in the form of Bucky and Sarah?
Yeah, yo, Yasmin showed us the ring, man.
Exactly.
Congratulations, by the way.
Go ahead and hold up that infinity stone right quick.
Your man got a good job.
he went to Jared. But anyway,
hold on. Let me get another close up. It just it's got a
calm down, Green Lantern. I know you got it like that, man. But good grief, man.
So that's why it looks so fancy because it's like a sunflower but it's got like a moon and a sun and the diamond is
Listen, I don't know where your man works, but wherever he works got a 401k. It's a
good
job. He's got that. Yeah, it's got that in this relationship. I got the Power Stone.
Anybody need any commercial or residential painting? Let me know. Strickland Painting and Company. We'll pull up. What's up? Okay. I don't need tape to do straight lines. Thank you.
James. I don't know. But she is getting married to a white man, and we actually have a clip of him. Here he is, right here. This is future husband to me. So say hello to your future, there, but speaking of white men, it is funny how Bucky stays involved with Wakandans, and he clearly has gotten a taste of some of that chocolate thunder, and now he is not going back, which leads him to ultimately bring our guy who we started to like somehow, Baron Zemo, is now being captured by the Wakandans as they came over and kicked Captain Zimmerman's whole ass, and now he's getting delivered. But
He didn't kill him. He didn't kill him, though.
They definitely they did not kill him. We know that is a fact. But the funny thing is, I don't know what's going on here. Now, James, if you have any predictions, one thing we like to do is speculate on this show. And I'm trying to figure out what exactly is going on here. We saw Bucky basically say, look, bro, you ain't going nowhere. Teased him. Now, keep in mind, this ain't just somebody that they caught. This ain't just any old prisoner. This is the guy who basically sold Bucky's brain to Hydra and got him to be programmed to be a killer psychologically, even though he didn't know it. This was the guy who essentially put that program together to dismantle the Avengers. And now he's holding a gun to his head of his own accord without giving some sort of Russian, call or a secret code to activate him. So what do you think is the future for Baron Zemo, Yon?
Well, I will say this, man. That scene's pivotal because what it's doing is Bucky holding a gun at his head and it's blank and he lets all the bullets drop from his hand. It's closing that story arc. Zemo can no longer affect the Winter Soldier and make him actually the Winter Soldier anymore. So it's him saying, you can't make me into a killer. I've made peace with who I am right now, and you're never going to make me do anything I don't want to do anymore. So when they're taking him away, it's supposed to be, okay, Zemo has to go now pay for his crimes again with the Wakandans, because we all know that Zemo's the reason that the Black Panther's Baba, his father, is dead. He had him assassinated. Yeah. So it was just closing that arc. And I think what's going to happen is we're going to see him become a bigger supervillain than he already was. I think he's yes, absolutely. They're not setting this up for no reason. They didn't go through all this just to have him go away. No, as you can see, with each episode, he's getting closer and closer to that comic book costume too. He didn't have like the furry stuff everywhere, but he had the fur on his jacket with the little black specks like he had in the comic book. Now he's got the actual mask. So it's setting up him to be a bigger player in one of the movies coming up.
Oh, wow. So you think he's going to have a bigger role in one of the movies?
Oh, absolutely. It's coming back.
I agree.
You got, because here's what makes him a great villain. You can sympathize with the fact his wife, his family was taken away from him by superheroes who seem to have turned their back on the collateral damage they caused. Wow. So he was meticulous. He was methodical. He created that whole plan with the Winter Soldier to get revenge. I mean, it was horrible, but you got to respect where his feelings truly lie. And as you got to know him with this series, he's not a bad person in the sense of he's just evil. He did what he did because he feels justified. You took my family away from me.
Yeah.
So,
we didn't even another thing too, James, to touch on that. He also asked them, did you guys ever go to Sokovia? Did you guys ever go back?
No.
He literally said that to them. And in the way he said it, you were just like, damn, he's right there.
Damn.
They never went back to any of those places that they killed those people. And he was right though. James, you're 100% right. Zemo, he's that villain that, Marvel did it again. Damn it. They made us fall in love and empathize with the villain, with the fact that his whole world came crashing down and he became this man because of the events that happened. It wasn't something that he did on his own. It was something that happened to him that turned him into this meticulously vengeful person to come after them and to plot the way he does. So I agree with you, James. I think we just started to see, Baron Zemo in his prime flesh. Wakanda's gonna take him. He's gonna do some crazy shit, steal some of their stuff and get the fuck out like he always does. And then, it's just gonna go on from there. I definitely think he's gonna pop back up in the movies. You know what I'm saying? Because like you were saying, the fur, it's the key details of the outfit and things that are happening. And I also agree. I loved that closing scene. Sam was telling him, Winter Soldier, you need to get closure. You need to do the work. You know what I'm saying? You need to do the fucking work, or you're not gonna get any better. So, and that was him, like you said, James, closing that chapter on Baron Zemo. And he was that was him forgiving him, and he also forgave him again. Did you guys also hear that he said, "I'm sorry, I forgive you too." I have no quarrels. Did you guys hear that? He said, I have no quarrels with the Winter Soldier anymore. Mm-hmm. He literally said that to him.
That was a great scene for me. Yeah. When I left that episode, I was like, damn, that's the part that's really getting me.
Yeah, and I want to just throw in real quick. The Dora Milaje said that they're taking him to the raft. They're not taking him back to Wakanda. The raft is that we've already seen it in but the Raft, for anybody who's not super familiar with it in Marvel lore, is a place where they hold all the supervillains basically. And even though it's like supposed to be, it's supposed to be like the most secure place in the world, but also they're always breaking out. They're always planning some stuff in there. So it's basically summer camp for bad guys.
Here's what you're doing. You're putting some of the most smartest people with the most resources together. That's a mistake. So we're definitely going to see a jailbreak and he's going to have his own little super villain group.
You know, how people like describe it. They're like, "Oh, I went into jail with like, like just like a regular AA. I got out with a PhD." That's going to be Zemo when he gets the fuck out of that prison out of the Raft. Like he's going to be like, "I got a fucking PhD, you idiots! Like I'm going to outsmart you. I'm going to outwit you. I got you in every turn." I'm telling you.
Hey, yo, so look. So the fact that Zemo was waiting for, because he you remember he said to Winter Soldier, he said, "I thought you would have been here sooner."
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? The fact that he did not try to resist, the fact that he was waiting, this is something that Zemo planned soon as he found out that they were there looking for him. Ooh. So the fact that I guarantee one of the things I really like about Zemo is this. Zemo's not a fanatic. Right. He's not there questing for power. Right. He's not doing any of that. None of his stuff is ego driven. Right. He's one of the most logical villains I have ever seen in the MCU. Like his whole thing is, the Winter Soldiers, the Super Soldier program cannot exist because this ideal that these whatever person like gets that formula becomes like an obsession, right? And then it winds up involving everybody. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what he blames overall for the death of his family and everything like that. So his whole thing is just eradicating that program. I think any means to getting to that end is where he's going. So now he knew that they were going to get him. He probably knew they were going to take him to the Raft. He's like, okay, they're gonna take me where I can go recruit. Like that's literally. So I agree with you, James, completely. That it's time for his character to be on the big screen. The big screen, just like it's time for Monica to be on the big screen. Like these shows, like I said it.
Get you hyped.
If you can put together a performance that people are chattering about, then guess what? You just did your audition. And we like what we saw. So guess what? Black Panther 2's coming up. Don't be surprised if you see Zemo in Black Panther 2.
Please don't talk about Black Panther 2. I'm still sensitive about it. We still don't know how they're gonna work on it. But before we broach that subject, Mati, don't forget, like, this dude is conniving. All right, he's smart. He deserves his spot on the big screen. Age of Ultron was all about Baron Zemo.
Civil War.
Civil War. I'm sorry, Captain America: Civil War was all about Baron Zemo. That was the main villain. And it's funny, I heard you say like, "Oh, he didn't put up a fight. He didn't resist." It was Dora Milaje. I don't think he wanted any of that smoke. And he don't have no superpowers either, obviously, because he's not of that mindset that superpowers should be out there. But Mati, I am a little concerned. I didn't put this together, so this is why I love talking to my folks here. They basically are taking them to the Arkham Asylum, right? Where he's now about to, and now that, like, I'm listening to what Bad Ty's saying, what James and what Yaz is saying, and the fact that he was waiting there. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, "Oh, I thought you'd have been here sooner." Like, he's so contrived. Do you remember in the last episode where No Lip Cap came up to him and was like, we need you to hurry up and get in there and take him out. And he was like, "Oh, so aggressive, but I understand." You know what I'm saying? Like, you would understand. And you know what I'm saying? Like, who does that? So I don't know, Mati. I'm a little nervous. What do you think is going to happen next with Baron Zemo?
So we saw what happened at the end. We saw what happened throughout the actual episode in the beginning, which they brought No Lip Cap to court. to military court, and they told him basically, we're stripping you down to nothing. You're fucked up. You got caught.
Yeah.
We can't like not look because it's out there. So we have to be the ones to do the right thing and treat you like we would have treated anybody else in this situation. So now you're down to nothing. Obviously, he's now going to turn into the bad guy. So he's going to be, in my opinion, after watching this, and I had to like, what? He's going to be the connection outside of Wakanda. Now that Zemo is going to be in Wakanda at the, what they call that, the bad guy super camp, as TJ Cole said. And he may be the key.
That's funny.
He may be that little key that they need from the outside to penetrate the breakout, because obviously they always get out. Otherwise, we have no more movies, and then we're going to be sitting there watching nothing. But that whole part there, him now becoming the Bizarro Captain America, for me, that's how I was thinking it, because I have not read these comics in extent as you guys have. The blood on the shield, that was deep. I was like, wow.
Because you never seen that. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like he turned something that was supposed to be so positive for a unit, you know, a whole community of superheroes and whatnot.
It was a legacy ruined.
Yeah, the legacy itself. He must, like, if Steve was around, he'd be rolling over. But if Steve was around, he had the shield. But he made it so dark because he did what's going on right now, where the persons who are supposed to be in our community, that's where I got out of it too. Those people who are supposed to be protecting us in our community, serving and protecting, some obviously are having a problem where they're not doing that. And that's where Marvel, I feel, for me, that's where the message went. And the fact that they corrected it by stripping him down for the wrong, because there was so many other ways he could have gone about it. That is like, wake up, people. You have to hold people accountable for what's wrong. If they did something the wrong way, especially, you know, being the hero, and we know what we're talking about here, then hold them accountable for it. It's obviously, you either do it one way for everybody, or you're going to do it the wrong way for everybody. So that spoken volumes to me when that happened, when they showed the whole the court case and everything. Him walking out of there and cursing them out the way he did, in real life, I strongly doubt that would ever happen, because I would see Leavenworth coming up on that one, even though he's not a government employee. But he had a right to say his you know, his part, or what he felt. But again, he fucked up. There was so many other ways to do this, and he was being punished. And because of his privilege, being Captain America, he thought, come on, guys, we do this all the time. And finally, they were holding him accountable.
Well, but let's be clear, though. Holding him accountable is different, because white privilege, he didn't go to jail.
Right.
He didn't go to prison.
Thank you. Thank
you.
I
mean,
he did get dishonorably discharged. He did lose all his government benefits, all that stuff. That on its own, that's very horrible, because
dishonorable is just, that ain't nothing.
Kill somebody.
Yeah, that's literally that's literally
in the real world. They would have taken him to Fort Leavenworth, because if this was really a military type port or whatever, he wouldn't have gotten to walk out of there. They would have had those guys back there. And again, he's a super now, because he took the serum. So I think that's where they stood back on that part too, because then, you know, wrong place, wrong time. He could have hurt more people.
And now the shadow group's going to recruit him.
Hey,
go ahead.
That whole, the way the sequence of events, and this again is a shout out to Kevin Feige's directing and everything like that, because the blood on the shield is symbolic of like literally America, and how it is, like how it was established on blood. Like they literally like it was that is the symbolism on the blood on the shield, from that point to the point where you find No Lip Cap running into a warehouse, and then, you know, showing his emotions and all of the pressures. Like, you know, you don't understand what it's like being Cap and all, you know, like all of these frustrations, and then this like confliction in between himself where he feels like he's doing good, and then all of a sudden he snaps and wants to kill everything that he was doing in that warehouse was to kill them, not to disarm them, not to defend himself. He was trying to kill them. With every move, it was like, yo, every time he got on top, it was like, ah! Like it was gonna be one like, if you don't save me, I'm done. If I don't save you, you done. That's kind of what it was, and to see that whole struggle, and now to the point where you have Sam at the end of the episode, you know, wiping the blood off and cleaning it up, and now he's, you know, throwing it around and feeling comfortable with it and everything like that. It's showing like this, you know, story of where America can be, and or where America was and where America can be.
Yeah.
Right. Well, just to touch on that, let's look at exactly what transpired, right? Like on one end, we've got Captain Zimmerman, you know what I mean, doing his best rendition of The Retreat at Twin Lakes, killing somebody for no reason. The dude literally is like, it wasn't me. He knows damn well it wasn't him, but he's saying that he's doing it in his friend's honor. He's saying that he's protecting. You know, so like on one end, you're going to get people to sympathize with him. Oh, you know, he was out there for our protection. There have been some robberies, some burglaries in the area recently. So he has that aura of protection. But you take that whole script and flip it in the same episode. We've got the same storyline happening, a completely different result. And we can only see one real difference when it comes to these two characters. So at the end of the day, his privilege once again is on display as he starts to get questioned by these folks that he's supposed to be, holding him accountable. And here he is basically saying like, yo, you don't know what it's like to be Cap. With all due respect, you don't know the complexities of the situation. You know, I'm here to let me talk. I'm going to yell. I'm going to gripe. I'm even going to walk away before you finish. And not a lick of time is issued. He basically gets administrative leave with pay. And now he gets to go out and make a whole other shield. So him and the real Cap that we're rooting for ultimately end up fighting at some point, as they probably do in the comics. Now, I don't know, James, if this is striking you is the same way it's striking me, but I think Marvel is doing a brilliant job, once again, of showing parallel situations with completely different outcomes.
Absolutely, man. And as an old guy, I read this the first time, like as it was being published. I'm that old when they first introduced U.S. Agent. So I'm excited to actually see this storyline play out because for, like I told you guys, for a long time, we only had limited amount of movies that were comic book movies. And we never thought we get to see some of these biggest storylines that we read actually get put in the movies and on TV. So I'm very excited to see how this plays out because spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't read that series, U.S. Agent goes through a lot of stuff and ultimately becomes a hero again. Actually joins the West Coast Avengers at some point. So I'm very interested to see how they redeem this character or if they're even going to follow that storyline.
Yeah, I'm for it. I mean, I don't know. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I would much rather see an origin story for Isaiah Bradley than I would to see another Captain America-esque type of character. But I do think it is at least worth exploring the plight of somebody because I mean, look, at the end of the day, they're not just trying to make this a white black issue. Because you see, they have strategically surrounded him with people of color. Like you recall, his best friend is a black guy, and
Lamar
Hoskins, yes,
yeah,
and his wife appears to be a young lady of color,
as well.
Yep.
Who we met when we were introduced to one countess, who was quite revealing that they chose
I'm so happy.
I'm so happy to see her.
But she killed it. She killed it. Though.
Yeah, this is a fascinating casting. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I was not expecting to see Elaine Bennis cast as the Countess. So we know one thing, that she's sinister as fuck, but we also know that this is going to be the first Marvel villain that has terrible dancing skills. I hope that they allow us to take full advantage of her lack of ability to dance, and that hopefully is her superpower, because I would love to see that over and over again. But yeah, man, what do y'all think, man? Are you serious? Countess Val is freaking Elaine Bennis. Now, this is not the first time that this Countess has been cast. She actually had a quick cameo in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. series. But I don't know, man. This is who she is in the comics. I mean, I can see some resemblance. Yeah. But I don't know. Tyrone. Tyrone, please make me feel better about this, bro.
Yeah, no, so there's a lot of history here, and there's some things that there are some aliases, for example, she's going by, which I won't even say here because it's such a big spoiler potentially. But let me just say that there's a lot of history there with this character, with S.H.I.E.L.D., with other agencies that have been, covert in the way they operate and stuff. So there's some Nick Fury history here, so we could very, very well get.
Wait! Are we talking David Hasselhoff, Nick Fury?
No, we're talking about Nick Fury. Period. Now we're looking like we're probably going to end up getting some really, really good. I'm trying to be vague. We're gonna this reveal was huge in that as far as world building. Like, this is not going to be the last time we see her at all. Yes. And she's going there's going to be a lot of stuff happen. I would imagine that we're probably going to see her a lot in the whatever Nick Fury show, whenever that comes out.
Yeah.
I imagine she's going to be a big part of that.
I think she's going to be more, not the actual soldier that you see pictured there. It's going to be more the bureaucrat, politician style, behind the scenes, puppet master kind of things, I think.
Yeah, pulling the strings, that kind of thing. Yeah,
that's what I think is going to happen. I don't want to give away too much either, but I'm excited. When I saw her, I'm like, okay, Marvel, I didn't see it coming that way with her being cast, but she did a great job. And that 4-minute scene, she killed who that character is supposed to be. Yeah, so I'm excited.
Yeah, and also, like, outside of Elaine, like, if you've ever watched Veep, it's a hilarious show. She kills it. It's Julia Louis-Dreyfus at her best, and who knows, we might get a Contessa and Star-Lord dance off. Maybe that'll be what ends up saving the universe.
You think? Oh my god! You think her Star-Lord and Groot will just kind of get together, do Red Rover?
My money's on Groot.
I don't know.
My money's on Groot all day.
Her presence was great. I love the confidence, being a woman, how she came on, and like they kept trying to, like, who are you? Like, what are you? And she's like, here, read this part, sweetheart. And she just kept going in, like, I'm not the one. Do not even think you're at my level. She came off so alpha. I loved it because I have that little, side of me. But I loved Elaine since Seinfeld. I loved her in anything other. I watched a lot of the movies or shows that she's been in. The way she came off definitely was the only way I saw her as Elaine was when she actually got to be in charge of the publishing company when the boss took off on his retreat and left her in charge, and she had the cigarette and she was charging everything, and George got that Russian hat. So it was like, oh my God, they finally gave Elaine her part. But she came off so good. I want to see more. I want to know more about her. Now that I saw the costume and everything, now I'm like, oh, now I'm gonna have to look into this because I didn't know. So this is really, really good.
If you think about it, I mean, she came off kind of like, oh man, what's her name? The young lady who's the head of the Suicide Squad.
Harley Quinn.
No, the black lady. Amanda Waller.
Amanda Waller. Yeah, she has Waller vibes. Where she came, I mean, the first thing she says is like, oh, hey, don't worry. We know you killed that guy. You know, they don't
Yeah.
all hate you for it. And by the way, good thing you shot up that serum. Oh, yes, I know about that. And, you know, like she's reading him for his secrets out loud. Oh, and about that whole shield. Don't worry. Here's a little secret. It's not actually government property, which kind of fast forward. And then you see at the very end of the, if in true Marvel style, there are post-credit scene in which Cap Zimmerman, or No Lip Cap as we call over here, is actually building a whole other shield. I don't know if that's vibranium or not. He got it. All I can think of was
skipped the whole bit.
It's not.
You skipped a really important thing, and I gotta address it.
Okay.
So we found out in this episode that look. So we found out in this episode that Miss Carter is actually a villain. Like she set up Falcon to get killed by the same dude that he jumped out of the plane or was fighting in the plane in the first episode.
That's John St. Pierre. I think his name is
fighter, which is the UFC fighter
George St. Pierre.
George St. Pierre.
Yeah.
So
wait.
Huh?
Was this confirmed?
Oh, that's absolutely confirmed.
I didn't go
when she was on the phone.
Yeah,
the guy she was talking to was speaking French.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, and then guess who shows up looking for Falcon? Talk about he just here to kill Falcon.
Yeah,
Absolutely. She is a villain now. Like,
this could be a spoiler alert. I thought that she was
Power broker.
Power broker?
That's what I thought she was. Yeah.
I thought she was
cool.
too.
I really think that's who she really is.
Whoa. So we're saying that we think on this panel that Sharon Carter
set him,
is a power broker?
Yeah.
Groundbreaking.
Yeah, we said that last week.
No,
ain't nobody.
Are you cheating on the show?
Yeah.
What is happening here? I don't appreciate that.
Every time.
I love you, boo. I wouldn't cheat on you, boo.
How come every time I leave, you on another person's podcast talking about comic books?
Yeah. I check your Instagram DM. Who else you sliding in, Mati? But we didn't. I don't think we had that sentiment last week, did we? We didn't really think.
I mean, we gave out a lot of scenarios. We gave out a lot of scenarios who power broker could be, but I don't know if any of us suggested that it was her.
I didn't.
No.
Have to go with that footage. That's 4-hour tape.
4-hour tape. I don't know.
4 hours.
Yeah, that is true. There is a lot to unpack with that, which does kind of get kicked off. I don't know if that's what we're going to end up with at the end of the day. A Sharon Carter villain. I'm pretty sure they're going to twist it somehow to where she was trying to
double agent.
She's trying to. There's a whole, because remember Sharon Carter, her whole thing was like, oh, you still believe in that red, white, and blue shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you're still on the superhero train. I like
she's low key running a whole organization though, and that's the thing. Like, when she went into that building, that I think that was episode 3 or 4, where you see her walking like through it looks like maybe a tunnel or something. And you see armed guards, you all of these armed people. I think she's somehow a leader of some type of either rebellion or some type of organization, because that country that she lives in is like supposedly like the worst place to go. Like that's where all the criminals, Madripoor is. That's where she's at, right?
Yep. X-Men
Madripoor is like. Historically, I think in the comic book realm is just like a really a place where all bad guys go to just hang out and chill. I think even at one point, I think Wolverine was in Madripoor.
Absolutely.
So like this is like, if she made the call and then George St. Pierre shows up and he's linked with Carly, which somehow she always knows where she's at.
Right.
And then all he's talking about is killing. I'm just here to kill Falcon. And she's like, all right, well, you'll get your chance. And like, that to me after that conversation, like, and she didn't tell nobody else nothing. That looks like she made her decision.
Hashtag prediction. I
So,
like
so
it.
you,
There you go. There you go.
so Ty, you're saying that you think that it's possible that Sharon Carter is the powerhouse. It is power broker.
Power broker. I think that.
I don't think she's the power broker, but I think I don't know what role she's playing in this yet, and I'm not going to speculate. But I don't.
You're not going to speculate.
Not as far as like I'm not going to go as far as saying she's the power broker. I just said she's running some type of organization. You know what I mean? I don't know if she's the power broker or not. That's what I'm saying. I don't think she is. I don't think she is.
I think she knows. If she's not power broker, she knows who power broker is.
I could probably
So, but we all agree. We're all in agreement. I mean, at least it sounds like you all are that Sharon Carter is not a good guy. Like she's officially.
She's not anymore. Yeah.
You agree with this too, guys?
She's like Ayo, and she's playing in Wonder Woman, and
you think she's a double agent? Yes, that's what you think.
Yes.
No,
I think she's a double agent.
Yeah, because if you think about it, she's somehow this is all going to turn into when she started like linking up with Fury.
Oh, you think so?
You gotta think about it because like no matter what, she still links up with Fury. We haven't seen that part yet.
That's true. Yeah. So like
the power broker could be Fury. We don't know.
Oh my God! No, you don't think the power broker is Ultron? Yes.
He's not in this episode right now, but he'll be making a fast recovery. Watch. Just wait. The shit's gonna happen.
But I'm confused by that though, Yas. Where's the logic in if she's linking with Fury? What would be the logic in trying to kill Falcon?
Well, she was saying that she's a double agent. You know what I'm saying? And like she's saying with old girl.
So Fury sent her in to do the power broker shit, to be the power broker minion. So she's playing the role right now. She's playing the double agent role right now. So like she could still be working for Fury, but right now, like you know what I'm saying, as we're seeing, is like she's still in works, obviously doing some conniving shit at Madripoor. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's why she went there. You know what I'm saying? To like infiltrate that place, to like figure out who that person was. Cause like Fury knows everyone's fucking business. He knows everyone's fucking secrets. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, and he's always got someone in some shit. You got to think about that. That's Fury's fucking MO. Somebody is in somebody's shit and he's going to find out about it. You know what I'm saying? Like she's just one of his minions.
Yeah. Yeah. What now, Ty, I like you, am skeptical of this notion, but it does make me think that they're going to do that thing where it appears that she's a villain, but overall she's infiltrating and she's playing both sides for the good side. You know what I'm saying? Like I get that sense that she's like, oh no, I was calling him and put him all in place so that agents of shield could come by. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think that I get this the what we call in the comedy universe. I get the sense of a misdirection here. And we're being led this way, and it's going to end up another way. What's up, Mati?
No, that's exactly it.
Oh, yeah, Mati was doing sleight of hand. Yeah.
Oh,
You're watching this. You don't see this because it's out there.
That's basically what it is. Yeah, I see that. Mati, Lego maniac and magician in the moonlighting phase. So I'm just like loving the fact that we now are having an entanglement, frankly, with the characters on Falcon and Winter Soldier. We're given what appears to be in the beginning a hero, right? And then the hero turns out to be what looks like he's going to be a villain. We're given a villain who's starting to look more and more like her own version of a hero, and that's what makes this show so dope. There is no real ability to just definitively define people as good or bad, which is the way that the world is. People aren't always just good and bad. There is always layers, right, Tyrone? You don't always just say, well, listen, police, they're bad in general. Well, some people think that, but the fact of the matter is it's a little deeper than that. You know what I mean, right? Like it's not always cut and dry. And I think that's what Falcon and Winter Soldier is tapping into, Tyrone.
Yeah, with this show, I think so many people are operating in the gray area, whether it's Sharon Carter, whether it's Falcon, Bucky, everybody's just kind of operating in this gray area. The people who aren't are the people like Zemo, and on the other side you have John Walker, who, you know, those like John Walker is the radical here. You know what I mean? Like he's the guy who's out here just, you know, just killing folks for no reason. You know what I mean? But with what he feels to be a righteous cause. But it's clear that it's not. But everybody else just, you know, everybody else is working based on their circumstances. Sharon Carter, she was on the run because she did something for the right reasons and ended up, you know, becoming branded a criminal for it. You know, Bucky is somebody who, like you touched on earlier, you know, has 90 years worth of just atrocities that he's had, you know, kind of under his belt, and he's dealing with that, and, you know, and still kind of operating as, you know, a free agent. So it's one of the strengths of the show, without a doubt, that there is no clear line between, you know, kind of good and bad. Instead of good and bad, they're kind of talking about right and wrong. Like, are you doing something that's right, even though it may not be legal, or it may not be, you know, or it may be frowned upon? It could still be right. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what they're messing with. And I think that's the absolute strength of this show.
And you know what, Vince, to piggyback off what Todd just said, that a really good example of that was when No Lip Cap was talking to Lamar's family, and the response that he got from the mother and father, but then the response he got from the sister, because the sister looked at him like, "Are you lying?"
Yeah,
like, you can tell she looked at him like,
sideways.
This little act you putting on right now, like, yo, like, yeah, I know you rock with my brother and all of that, but I don't believe all of this you talking about. You killed the person that killed him. Right. So that exactly to the point that you just made, Todd. That is that two perspective. They give you that one perspective and then give you the other perspective, and just put it on the same plate and let you digest it however you want to digest it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's really smart.
Well, I mean, that's what makes it so watchable, is not having those lines drawn and just being able to be like, oh, you know, well, obviously, you know, Zod is the bad guy and Superman is the good guy. You know, obviously the Joker is the bad guy. And, you know what I'm saying? We're like, all right, well, I kind of see what, you know, more Carly's saying here. You know what I'm saying? She's kind of like, kill him. You know what I'm saying? You're like, I kind of get Zemo. I mean, the dude is not just some evil dude. I mean, he lost his. He's speaking up for the regular, non-injected with super serum folks who don't want to see a world of super soldiers that could easily kill you and forget that you even existed. You know what I'm saying? Like, they dropped a city on his city. You know what I'm saying? Like, and forgot about it. You know?
It didn't even clean up. Like,
they didn't even go back to visit. You know what I'm saying? They know nothing, right, Tyrone?
Yeah, and here's something else. Like, we've been giving John Walker a hard time this whole time, right? And I've been really hard on this dude. He had his best moment in this episode where he was talking at that hearing, and he was like, "You made me. I am what you built." You know what I mean? And that was a huge moment too, because what it's doing again is it's not just showing this guy as, oh, he's an evil villain. He's also in a way sort of a victim of circumstance. Right. So while he doesn't do much to redeem himself, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't make himself a redeemable character in a lot of ways, but he just, you know, he looked at all these dudes and he was like, this is exactly what you asked for. And now that you got it, now I'm the one that's wrong. Like, now you want to turn your back on me. So, you know, that was a direct criticism of, quote, the system. You know what I mean? And that was a great moment. Great John Walker moment. I just want to give him, you know, his dues in this moment. Before, you know,
giving out flowers, bro.
Everybody gets flowers today. Where's
everybody? Everybody, you get a flower. You get a flower.
Like,
rest in peace, Thanos. Rest in peace, man. Yeah, you know.
Oh my God.
I feel you, dog.
No, it was a great moment, and I think that they've done such a great job, really, just you know, making it hard for us to just say, oh, this person's the bad person, this person's the good person, and you know, we didn't think that we'd be talking this deeply about this show. We thought we'd be like, oh yeah, you see when he punched this guy and that guy. You know, we're not talking about all the action. We're not talking about this stuff. We're talking about deep layers here, and I can't believe Marvel keeps doing it like this.
I mean, but it's so consistent, isn't it? Because I mean,
yes.
we like Loki, we like Thanos a little bit. You know what I mean? Like we like all the villains that we've been getting. They have likability. It's like you're like it's not like the Joker. You're like he's crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's just crazy. We just like Heath Ledger's playing him, but like he's crazy. He's doing crazy shit. These guys are actually doing they're making calculated moves. Like, this is dope, man. This is
well, a couple things before we kind of get off of this real quick. So we low-key met 2 new characters these last couple episodes. Mm-hmm. We low-key met 2 new characters, one of which we've already discussed, and that is Countessa Val, as we'll call her. Mm-hmm. And another one, I don't know if y'all peeped this or not, but we may have low-key been introduced to a member of the Young Avengers in this last episode. Did you all peep the young man who was guarding Isaiah Walker's house? This young man who we may be looking at the Patriot possibly in these upcoming series, which, as you all know, they are in talks of developing an actual Young Avengers series or a movie or something of that sort. And it does appear that they have given this young man an introduction, kind of the same way they gave Monica Rambeau an introduction, and are just putting him on the screen. So you're like, oh, I remember that dude. And he was in Falcon and Winter Soldier, but he's in the developmental phase now. James, as a comic book reader, you're familiar with the Patriot, probably. Did you pick up on them introducing us to a young John Walker? Bradley in this episode.
Yes. I would say yes, because for some reason they kept giving this young man lines.
Right.
Like, and they didn't have to. They kept going back to this young man over and over again. Whenever they go talk to Isaiah, they would give the kid lines where he didn't even need to be there for the scene. So I keep thinking they're doing it for a reason. So I could definitely see that coming.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the event with the Young Avengers, but I can say this series is giving me this whole different vibe when I look at the Stars and Stripes. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're getting all these characters that are representing the United States. Am I tripping? Like, we basically have a black man who is living in the shadow of America's most finest symbol when it comes to this shield. We have another man who is representing the shield. The shield in a way that we don't necessarily want to portray it, but it's very representative of the way it's, because we can sit here and, USA, support the troops. But a lot of us don't see that footage of when these Navy SEALs go into that, into a caliphate and have to pop somebody in the eye or have to kill a kid before he sets off a bomb. Like, we don't get to see that. All we see is them come back home and we say, thank you for your service. But we don't realize the trauma that they have that goes along with it. But we also see how it was for an older generation and how you go and you serve in the Tuskegee as a Tuskegee Airman. And he was talking about the 332 flights and this, that, and the third. And you come back and there's crosses burning in the yard. But then we're also now met with new 2021 black man who is not necessarily a victim of the Jim Crow. I mean, he is obviously by legacy and by history, but not a direct victim of slavery and Jim Crow. It is indirectly, but not direct. Who is now trying to wrestle with: do I belong here? Should I really hold up a flag that doesn't let people play in the NFL because they kneel for police brutality and awareness? Or should I be like, nah, man, I'm going to go ahead and try to change these colors and what they represent by holding up this flag? I don't know, man. There's so many different layers. And Tyleem, I know you typically agree with me on these type of things. I think that this is going to make it a little harder for folks who are like avid, like, activists to really hate the representation of Captain America as the blonde-haired, blue-eyed, what did Isaiah Bradley call him? He's like, you over there with that white man shield, you feeling like you all that. You know what I'm saying? Like they're bending, they're breaking it down. I'm gonna keep it real. I was never a fan of Captain America for that reason exactly. I was like, yo, fuck this guy. You know what I'm saying? Who the fuck is you? Like, you, okay, so you got a red, white, and blue shield? Fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I was always like a Spider-Man dude, because he was like a low-key dude. He was like a white hood rat. You know what I'm saying? Like, he rides around. You know, he don't know his parents. He don't know his mom. He don't know his dad. You know what I mean? And then he's a geek. He gets picked on, and he ends up with powers. Not Captain America. He's a little scrawny dude wanting to fight. You know, oh, I could do this all day. And now he's like Captain America.
But Captain America is the story of the underdog. That's why he was such a good character to me. Like, even as a black dude, because he was a scrawny guy, like you said, who didn't. He grew up knowing what it felt like to be the weaker person. He grew up knowing what it was like to be an outsider made fun of. So I love that storyline for him when he became. He was given powers, but he used them the right way. So I was always a huge Captain America fan, always a huge Avengers fan because of that. And you gotta think back too. Captain America was given a black partner when that wasn't a cool thing to do back in the days of the comics.
Yep.
This is true.
Yeah, true. I mean that wasn't the hot thing to do. So I do think creators, and I'm talking about whether you do music, whether you create comic books or movies, whatnot, I think we always tend to be what I guess, quote unquote, a little bit more liberal or a little bit more forward thinking when it comes to dealing with people of color. So that's not a surprise to me that they did that, but I'm just saying that's why I like Captain America back in the day.
And you know what, Vince, to like with that's the thing about Kevin Feige. I think he's really fully aware of that whole, concept. The thing about and just to touch on what James just said, the thing that they elaborated on in this episodic series of Falcon and Winter Soldier was that power makes you an enhanced version of who you truly are. When we saw Cap in the development from him becoming that little scrawny guy to Cap, we saw a guy that was just like honorable, like he jump on a bomb and save everybody, like if he could, like he was that guy before the power. So the power just made him more of a stand-up guy. Kevin Feige is going through the transitions of what the shield means and what it can mean, but now what the representation of the shield means. Like, so who's representing the shield at the time is kind of more dictating what people look at the shield as meaning. So if Sam is out here doing everything on a solid standing, then the shield, the representation of the shield becomes different than no lip Cap going out here banging somebody's head in on the pavement in front of 200 people with cameras. You know what I'm saying? That's where I love how he's doing it, because you see that whole transition from good, bad, ugly to, back to justice, liberty, freedom, the things that Sam is trying to, fight for.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop 10 seconds of quick poetry knowledge on y'all real quick. Hold up. Ooh. All right, so Steve Rogers represents what we thought America was. Ooh. Sam Wilson will represent what we hope America will be.
Oh, damn.
Gotcha. You know what?
Oh, bars.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tyrone will be slinging his incense after the show. $5 back. $5.99. It's $5. Damn.
Yeah. If y'all want to join me for some bean sodas after the show, come on. Yeah.
Wow.
Come hook it up. Come hook it up.
Hey, yo, man,
Tyrone's gonna be selling. He's gonna be selling bow ties and bean pies after this.
He's marketing that, man.
And his mixed acapella CD.
MC
White Black Struggle.
MC Pasty.
Oh my God! All right, get your incense and handmade soap from Tyrone after the show. Real quick, before we go any further, guys. Unfortunately, our boy James has to go and do real people things, So thank you so much, bruh, for joining us.
Come back, James.
Bro, could I just say, man, what you guys are doing, I'm absolutely a fan of, because when I was coming up, there wasn't a lot of people of color really
Right.
into the same things I was into, man. I was kind of one of the outliers, man. I guess
Right,
you guys were too. So to see y'all come together in the Blerd movement, man, warms my old heart. I love everything that y'all do. I love each and every one of you, man. Y'all, I'm still a little scared of you. You're a little rough. But yeah. Like I always figured when she spends her day cleaning her gun all day, like, yeah, I wish a motherfucker would.
My baby girl. That's my baby girl.
Not sure, but yeah, Mom, I get it. You got bail money for her. I get it.
Listen, let's put this on record. Okay, I have never been arrested. I don't have a criminal record. Okay.
But that just means you ain't got caught. That's
Exactly. Yeah.
No, but honestly, I love everything y'all do, man. I think it's so important, Vince, the movement that you started, man. Everything you do, man, I just think we should all just put it out there as much as we possibly can. Anything I can do to help y'all, please let me know. You guys are amazing, and I love watching you, so please give it the good work.
Yo, thank you so much,
Much
James.
love, James.
And y'all, please make sure y'all check James out on Afrotainment. Go follow that page, as a matter of fact.
Please follow Afro.
You might see some people you recognize,
Yeah.
you know, that may or may not have been on that show.
Yes, there was a very funny young man that was dressed like Bagger Vance.
Hey, hold on, bro. You know, he had to hit me like that, bro. You know what I'm saying? But it's all good.
No, I have a show called Funny Not Famous, shameless plug. It's where we give opportunities to some of the funniest people that we know from around the country, some of the hottest comedians that just aren't a household name yet. And the way that comedy works for us is you got to have a credit. And basically what a credit means is something from a national platform, whether it be a nationally syndicated radio show or a TV show. So what I'm hoping to God that I get to do is provide opportunities for people that I know that are funny, so they can get that credit they need, so they can go work all the clubs and theaters they want to work, provide for their families, and just get to that next level. So that's what that show, Funny Not Famous, is, man. So it's on Xfinity Comcast, channel 1623. It's also, I didn't tell you this, Vince, but it got added to a channel that Comcast created themselves called Black Excellence. And it's channel 1622. Yes. There's only 2 shows from Afro out of all our shows that are on that channel, and that's Afro Jams with Mr. Sandra Lewis from The Voice. She does her live concerts, and it's also Funny Not Famous. So, man, we trying to do things out here to give our people opportunities, man. So thank y'all. Thank you. Thank you, man.
Thank you, James.
Hey, let's give James his flowers while he's here.
All the flowers.
Flowers.
Thank
Let's
you.
do that. Yo, James, since you asking what you could do, man, holler at that dude in the screen next to you, man. I think he's kind of funny. We'll see.
Well, it's funny because me and Tyrone got a pass, man. Like, this ain't my first time just meeting him. Like, nah, we go back a little bit, man.
Okay, yeah.
He has been a guest on the Lowdown, so yeah, man. it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be talking to you soon, Tyrone. I you know that.
Absolutely. You know I'm there.
All right.
I ain't trying to, put you in no awkward situation, but hey, can you put Tyrone on the show? You know what I'm saying?
Tyrone, light-skinned people got to stick together.
Yes.
It's just you, me, and Drake. That's it, man.
And everybody else on this panel. I feel like Wesley Snipes of this panel. Like, oh my God. Anyway, guys, make sure y'all check James out, man. James, thanks so much for joining us, man.
Yes.
We're gonna let you enjoy the rest of your day, man. Make sure y'all follow James Yon. He is on Facebook, Instagram, Christian Mingle, everything you could think of. And he will be on every Tuesday. You can catch Funny Not Famous live on the Afrotainment channel, which is also streamed live on Facebook Live. So we just want to big up James for giving us comics somewhere to have an end game. Ha 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 ha. Like how I did that, I just put the end game
with the segues.
Good pivot.
Segue King, you know what I'm saying? What's up, my team?
Nothing. You said end game. I got my Thanos on.
Oh, well, thanks very much. It's funny because we've been talking this whole time about the Falcon and Winter Soldier, as we should have been, and we still don't know who the power broker is. We still don't know whether. I mean, obviously, it's pretty clear that now they definitely killed Eddie Hoskins, Lamar Hoskins.
Is it clear?
It feels like,
you know how Marvel do.
Yeah,
we never saw a funeral. We never saw his body.
Yeah,
it's
we
COVID. they can only have so many people come.
It could be. I mean, I don't know.
Look,
But go ahead.
Man. We might see that agency that just gave old boy the card. They like, yo, and don't. Hey, by the way, we got Lamar's body. He's
right.
Okay.
Exactly. and that's what I was getting at, is that, do we really know for sure? You know, and also a couple questions that are lingering that I'm hoping that y'all can help me with. So Countess, she gave No Lip a card with nothing on it.
It was a black card on the back.
Black and white card.
Right. Oh, I thought she meant like a credit card. What is that all about? Somebody, just anybody, just tell me what the hell was going on there.
The way I read it was in that moment, she's just saying, you don't get to contact me. You don't get the information. You don't get to know what I'm about until I want you to know that information. So, and that's why she was like, that's the second best decision you made was blah, blah, blah. Oh, was marrying this woman. The first best decision is when you pick up the phone when I call you. And that was a power move. That handing them that card like that was an absolute power move. Just saying, look, I run this show. When I call you, be ready.
Right.
So you don't think that card was like some James Bond tech? Like there's some sort of nanotech inside that card where like you put it in some certain elevator and all of a sudden like this hologram of.
She was like, "You're my bitch. You wait for me to call you."
Yeah.
I
don't
need
think.
to know
Yeah.
basis. That's basically what that card was. You're on the need to know basis.
First thing was answering the damn phone call and marrying your wife. First thing. Like
Hey,
she
but
was
did you see
serious.
the little side look she gave to the wife? She was like,
She was like, "Oh, there you go."
She did one of them.
And the wife's like looking at it like I don't get it.
Yeah, she was just like, she was running everything. That's why, and even when she addressed, I wish I knew her name. When she addressed John Walker's wife, on her time, she was like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" Like, but just when she was ready to address it, you know what I mean? So this is like, she was just over there just running things, just saying like, "Look, I have the knowledge, I have the power. Be ready when I call you." And that was that few minutes that she got on screen, she ate it up. She ate all of it up.
She pulled the Puerto Rican "Prepárate" movement. That's what that was.
Damn.
Hold on. Let me get the subtitles up and running here, man. So what did you say? The Puerto Rican panco de what is it? Panco de tequila? What is it?
Prepárate.
Get ready.
If you heard those words from your mother, from your auntie, from any female, that meant if you screwed up, you're gonna feel it.
Oh,
I like
whether it was your woman who said it, your mama who said it, your cousin who said it, if she said to you, "Prepárate," that means, when this is all over and we're behind closed doors, it's coming.
Oh,
be ready.
That's basically
what comes off the foot is what she's trying to say.
Okay, all right. I used to get that.
Ready.
Oh wow, she's already got it. She's taking the chocolates out the holster already this early in the day. Yeah, we used to get that, but I would get it when I was in the pews at church from my mom in the choir, like that. You know what I'm saying?
Make those faces at church.
No lie. Get beat. Vince, I literally saw some old black man in one of those little Segway little wheelchair things yesterday in Walmart, and no lie, he was screaming at these two black kids like, "Get your ass over here!" And the kids were just not listening to him, and there was 20 people all around him trying to get food from the deli, and they're all just watching these kids just fuck with this old man because you can't chase after them, of course, and they're just running around all the produce and all. And he's like, "Get your fucking ass over here, mama! Get your fucking ass!" Austin and I were dying. I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "See, that's where they went wrong. If that was a Spanish mom, she just had to look at your ass wrong, and you'd be like."
Hey,
so what people don't get is you still got to go home in the car with that parent you just pissed off.
Yo,
and when they get home, that's it.
Hey, I got to see that again. Yes, how he did it.
Yeah, how they do it?
Yeah.
Anyway, he said, "Get your fucking ass over." It was he had no mask on. You just see his mouth. Just get your fucking ass. He was trying to be quiet, but he was like, "Get your fucking ass over here." He's trying to stand up and shit, swinging at them. Oh my god, it was I was fucking dying. I had to walk away.
Funny.
Too much. Too much. I was like, damn, those kids are gonna get an ass whooping when they get in that car, yo. Like for real. I was like, that old man about to snatch the ass up. And then I started having visions of like this old man on this like, you know, this wheelchair thing and him running the kids over, you know what I'm saying? Like, I told you, get your ass over here. I was so mad at these kids, dog. It was fucking priceless. Oh my God.
First of all, whenever you get yelled at by somebody who don't open their teeth, it's going down for real. Like,
that's literally, oh my God, yo, this lady was like, I can't stop looking at his face when he yells. Like, I was
like, yo, Bad Ty, could you imagine if their granddaddy was Isaiah Bradley? And
he looked like Isaiah, no lie, in the wheelchair thing, just screaming at these little kids, dog. It was so accident. And I literally was just about to watch the episode, and I paused it and was like, all right, let me go to Walmart. Let me get some dinner and stuff. And then I get back, and that's what I was like, no, it was Isaiah in a wheelchair without the juice. Oh my God.
Without the
Isaiah is too woke. Isaiah is so woke. Isaiah be like, I'm not going in no white man's establishment. I'll be damned if they find me. I mean, you know what? 20 years away from me. No, I mean, he got every right to feel bitter, but he's like, every right. But he's like, I don't think he even leaves the house. I don't think Isaiah Bradley leaves the house no more.
He doesn't have coffee creamer in the house or anything like that. No, he doesn't have no vanilla ice cream. Nothing.
Did you see when Sam said, I could tell people, we need to tell people, I know people. Isaiah's eyes changed like he was a runaway saying, don't you tell him where I'm at. It literally turned into one of them situations. He was like, no.
Right. Leave me dead.
They found me to kill me.
From us.
It literally was one of them moments. Oh my God. I was like, oh man. He was like, you don't know if you're telling me like, I'm dead. I just want to stay dead.
Oh my God.
Isaiah wasn't having no parts to that. Like,
he did. He was like, he's like, don't you go tell Master I was out here.
Tell him.
Don't you do it.
You should have told those people at the bank, you people. Did they help you? No, they didn't. They gonna kill me for sure.
It's too real, bro. That's too real.
Isaiah was not playing.
Real. That is way too real. Yeah, he ain't doing nothing by sending Young Justice, Mr. Patriot out there. Hey, go get me a pack of Cools from the from the Dwayne Reed up the street. You know what I'm saying? But no, man. I mean, I think that it is interesting that we had this whole character arc, and Marvel is clearly doing big things with this, man. This was a good episode. I loved it. We did also learn this week that in the world of Marvel, there are traitors. Since we're talking about double agents, we rarely touched the fact that we didn't even recognize Ayo in the Wonder Woman outfit this past week, which I think
it was the hair.
It was the hair. Yeah. The whole hair thing. Well, I mean,
hold on. It's the band. Her forehead is covered up. That's why y'all didn't recognize her. Don't be lying. It's the band. Yes, if you took the band off, you would have been like, "Oh, that's Ayo. Hey, I see you. You're the only black woman in the Wonder Woman crew. What's up?"
I frankly think that we wouldn't have. I mean, because before Ayo got her speaking roles in this series, I mean, we saw her, but we didn't see her, right? Like she was like background, but now we're actually giving her. I mean, even though she's been there from the start, like she was in Civil War. Right.
Okay,
I love that scene. Yeah.
Do you know who I want to see more of? The bitch that picked up the shield and then had to throw it down in anger, like, I'll give back the motherfucking shield then.
Yeah.
She was pissed, bro. Like for real, that shit was gangster. Like she was just like, this my shield. And like the way she wielded that bitch, like, yo, I want to see her holding the shield as Mrs. Wakanda, not Mrs. America. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, that shit was dope.
That is a good point. Like baby girl that had the shield at the end when she like kicked it up like it was a skateboard.
Right, like a skateboard, like boom.
like it was no big deal. And I mean, with the whole tatted on the face and everything, like I think that there may be something there. You might be right. Like maybe, I mean, there. I don't know if you heard this. This wasn't on the docket, but there has been talks about a Wakandan-based series on Disney Plus soon to set sail. Not one based on Black Panther, but just based on the concept of the city Wakanda, which we've already established on the show. Wakanda is its own character in itself. So there's so much to choose from when it comes to choosing who could be the prominent characters. And maybe you're right. Yes, maybe this could be one of the prominent characters. But Marvel chooses very carefully who gets screen time, and oftentimes the folks who do get chosen for screen time, you end up seeing them later because they know they can refer back to them a little later on in the series, which is why it was so dope to see them get they shine. Like they actually were celebrated, getting their flowers, as Good Ty would say, and we even got to see how they trained this week, which is 100% real. Like somebody might be thinking, oh, they stunt doubles. Like no. These ladies ain't playing. These ain't just drum majors from the FAMU Marching 100. These ladies are martial artists in real life. At least they have this type of training that they can showcase in real life with or without the hair, which I'm still wondering, are they really bald or is that like a bald?
They're wearing a wig. They're wearing a wig cap.
Wait. So these pictures in which we see them or whatever they're doing these joints on the screen, they're actually really just putting on wig caps?
No, that's their real hair and stuff like that. I'm talking about when they're on screen to do the Wakanda shit. You got to think about it. Like how long it takes for our hair to grow? They're not gonna fucking shave all their heads.
Literally, they could just put on green caps.
Right, that's what I'm saying. They're putting on like, think of it like a swimmer's cap, and they just like it's perfectly painted to match your skin tone. You know what I'm saying?
That makeup is if that's makeup, then it is amazing.
Well, Vinny,
you think about how these women put on those freaking lace, you know what I'm saying, frontals, and it looks like their real hair. You know what I'm saying? It's the same concept, just like with the latex. Like, look at that. Like, I'm just saying, Vision. He's not really bald, is he? No, he's wearing a fucking cap, right?
Yeah, but
it's a little easier to tell with Vision.
Yeah, but Vision has like super thin hair, and if their hair is even as long as mine, which it goes to the middle of my back, that's a lot of
that's years.
Right. Yeah, this is years. It took me 10 years to get back.
Really, all they do, Vinny, is they probably put on those green caps, and just like the green screen, you know what I'm saying? They just CGI whatever they put on, whatever they want.
You remember how those pictures look of Zoe Saldana when she's like in the Avatar suit and she looks all fucking crazy with the dots and shit on her face? You know what I'm saying? Like that's probably what they put like those dots and shit on, like their head, and they got a green screen on, and that's how they get all that shit on there. Like that's how they get that shit to work.
If you got her in a side profile and you saw her cranium and the shape of it, you can see where you would have space for someone very padded down hair, and they could just put a skull cap and just make sure a flesh color.
Did you see the scalp condoms? Gregory, that was great. That was fucking great. Ain't nobody giving lace fronts flower in the street. Hey, that's funny as shit. No, but for real though, like all they have to do is just get like a wig cap and some makeup. I mean, think about prosthetics. When they do prosthetics on certain people, you know what I'm saying? And like it's makeup that covers up where the line is at. You know what I'm saying? Like they literally like they make it so pristine and like smooth that it's like it's just makeup that covers.
Probably where the money went to. Because remember what Russo said, that this was one of the mostly high expensive shows that they had. So that's probably where a lot of it went to. It was to cover up the hair.
I think some of it went to that echo in your audio. It's great. I don't know. My bad. That's probably a little shot. The funny thing, I keep saying was funny, but we're talking about. And by the way, was Mati on that episode with Russo? I don't think she was, right? So she's just paying attention. No. We gotta love Mati and all of the shows. Okay, thank you,
big brother.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, damn, I can't remember his name, but the power broker, whatever. Yeah, fuck, it's too late. The joke is gone. You know how that goes.
I got it without you even saying it. Tyrone is on it. He's on it.
but we're talking about double agents and stuff like that. So we see her working, and she's basically getting a recurring role. She's probably gonna be back for whatever Wakandan series this is, which I think is pretty dope. just to kind of switch subjects real quick before we get into closing up. It was announced this week, or at least it has recently been confirmed that in the world of Marvel and Spider-Man, that Alfred Molina is 100% going to be in the Spider-Man Far From Home movie, which for me gives me life, because now we know for 100% a fact that there is a real live Spider-Verse thing going on. I know we speculated on this, so we ain't gonna spend too much time on it, but I just thought it was cool that he actually came out and said something about it. He says, when we were shooting it, we were under orders not to talk about it, but because it was supposed to be some sort of big secret, I'm sorry, I'm trying to practice my little British accent. But it's all over the internet. So I actually describe myself as the worst kept secret in Hollywood. I'm ready, man. I'm ready to see this movie, and I hope it delivers, especially since it is actually only coming out in theaters. Thank you so much for those that also agree with me.
Sorry,
Any
that's
thoughts?
how you gotta leave your house.
Yeah, well, you don't have to. You can stay home.
Oh no,
Fire stick that bitch.
young lady, we've already discussed this. We've already discussed this. I do not.
Yeah, I know. Ty's gonna.
He said,
Tyrone,
we have already discussed this.
Yes.
yeah.
I'm going to 90. I'm going to 90. So I'm gonna go up to 90 inches. So like shit. If that ain't big screen enough, I don't know what else is.
God forbid the day I pass away and have to have a funeral. If it's not available via Fire Stick, Ty ain't gonna make it.
No. Hey, but no lie, if you do a Viking funeral, I'm sure, because they have those available now in Maine, by the way, in case.
Yeah.
I'm sure he would show up for that shit because social distancing and shit. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah, barbecue.
He's like, I gotta see that nigga burn. What's up? Be down for that shit.
Nah, yes, because they gonna bury me in the ocean. You know what I'm saying? Like my ancestors.
Technically, you ain't gonna be buried, dog. You're gonna be like, you're gonna be sprinkled in them bitches. All them, the little ashes from your body.
I hope not. Well, Tyrone, I don't know if you got a chance to check this out, but Bad Ty, wanted to discuss this show that came out this week called The Nevers. Has anybody here had a chance to check out The Nevers? Did y'all get a chance to check that out? The Nevers came out. Did you get a chance to look at it, Tyrone?
I did, yes. Yep.
All right. Is everybody on the panel seeing The Nevers? Okay. Do we have any collective thoughts? I'll start.
All right.
I was gonna say we went back to Bucky.
I'm not mad at it.
Okay,
I'm not completely infatuated with it just yet. Just to kind of preface this, for those of y'all who don't know or haven't heard of it, it debuted on HBO Max. They're saying that it's had the best ever debut for an HBO Max original series, which at first glance you're like, oh, that's cool. And it is, even though there's a typo in this. Joss Whedon, who gave us the original Justice League, is his creation. The only issue I have with this is that the other original series on HBO Max that I loved the most was Lovecraft Country, which I'm hoping Yaz has had an opportunity to watch. And if you haven't, then you need to, and we need to discuss that, because it literally is like the dopest show on HBO Max.
Okay, next week.
HBO Max.
I promise.
It's not on HBO Max?
No. No, it's on HBO Max. I just think that when it initially came out, it was an HBO original, not an HBO Max original. I know it's crazy, but I think that's why they're saying what they're saying. Like since the inception of HBO Max, it looks like that's what they're comparing it to. They're not really comparing it to HBO.
So let's discuss.
Look, think about it. If they did that, then they would be saying it's better than Boardwalk Empire, it's better than Sopranos, True Blood, all of those things. That's what I'm saying. Like,
no, that's
so you think that it's actually more of HBO Max when it was like made into HBO Max, not before. Was Lovecraft Country wasn't on HBO? It was HBO Max.
No. It would you could like I guess now you could, but when we watched it on HBO. Remember? I don't know if you remember that, but we watched it on HBO, not HBO Max.
Oh, okay. I thought
because HBO Max formed like what? Not that long ago, if I'm correct. Like, right?
So we're just gonna put a We're just gonna put a pause on this whole Lovecraft Country thing because TJ, Lisa, and myself, and possibly my mom have not seen it yet. So we're gonna come back to that next week. I know, John.
No.
Oh, you're gonna need more than a week.
I don't need a week.
How many episodes?
I think it's
how many
10
episodes.
I think it's 9 or 10 or something like that.
We're here for that. We're here for that. We did a whole. We did the whole series. We did the whole series.
Guess what I'm gonna do?
Yo, Lovecraft Country is hands down the dopest black fantasy series. Period.
So what's it about? Just give us the plot. That's it.
No, we're not
to give you plot would spoil the show.
Yeah, we ain't telling y'all shit.
Yeah,
because to even break the ground in that realm.
Next week we'll cut that cake, okay?
Look at my. But however, we can talk about the Nevers, which did come out, a European-based show with a Jamaican in it. Don't ask me how that happened, because it's like way back in like the steampunk days. And we have in this show a character who is played. What's this young lady's name? Shit. Damn it! I didn't do the
shit. Is her name?
I'm slacking on my homework. All I know is that Ty at one point in time said, "Yo, we could talk about her because she was in Jessica Jones too." And I'm like, no. I think this is who you're talking about.
Yeah.
And these two are not the same person.
The same to me.
So this actress was in my Outlanders. That's Jamie's sister. She plays a really good actress.
Wait, hold on.
So wait,
they're not related.
Can we just go back? Did Ty just like completely just like throw out there that like all white women just look alike right now? I just want to touch base on that because he was like, that looks just like the other actress, like that
was we not all just looking at that same picture?
They don't look alike, bro.
Does that
they
not
don't look alike. This woman has fair skin. Okay, she got red tone. Jessica Jones is fucking pasty as shit. They don't look alike, bro.
I mean, that's pictures. But that looks like the same woman. But my bad.
No.
Nah.
The bone structure is completely different. Jessica Jones has fatter cheeks. This woman has skinnier cheek, more defined cheekbones. Her nose looks completely. It looks similar, yes, I see, but the eyes. Look at her eyes. Jessica Jones got more. She got more under eye, like she got bags, and the other woman don't. You know what I'm saying? Like that's.
I don't
natural.
think I see what y'all are seeing. Right now, I think I'm seeing I think I'm seeing 1998 Michael Jackson and 2000 Michael Jackson. That's what I'm seeing in this. Maybe I'm looking at the different picture. I don't know. I'm trying to find out what's going on my computer here. Yeah, still Michael.
well, all right. So just for the record, I did look it up. Kristen Ritter is the young lady on the on the right with the dark black hair who played Jessica Jones. And the other young lady's name is Laura Donnelly. Laura Donnelly is the one on the left who is also in the show The Nevers. Jazz is so I just real quick, I'm gonna say that I'm not mad at the show, but I think that the show has to show me a little more before I'm like really in love with it. It has low-key corniness a little bit, and it's giving me grown-up version of Wizards and Waverly Place.
Oh my god,
Sabrina Teen Witch. I'm not
that was a good name dropper.
What you give us your thought about it. What you think, man? You know,
I'm gonna say this. When you're doing an all British film, like the acting usually has to be superb, and like and it has to kind of be one of those things that's consistent throughout. Otherwise, you kind of get bored with it at some point.
Yeah.
And when I watched The Nevers, I saw flashes of good stuff, and then there was like those real cringy moments.
Yeah,
where I was like that whole theater scene. That was kind of cringy. I was like that the long drawn out conversation with the two brothers was kind of cringy. Like so, like one thing about it is some British accents or English accents, they're like really strong, and so like you have to listen really closely to understand what they're saying, and that's where it starts to get a little bit aggravating, and you're like, okay, can we get to like the powers? And
well, did you feel like that in Game of Thrones? Like the Game of Thrones had a lot of like really deep accents. Like I couldn't.
Yeah, but you heard the first part that I said, right? I said when you're watching English, it has to usually have really good acting.
Yeah.
And Game of Thrones had really good acting.
Yeah.
Like so. For a season premiere, I'm with you. I was like, it's not bad.
Right.
It's not great either. And I'm hoping but because there's powers involved that we see more than what we saw in this episode. Just put it like that.
Yes. What are your thoughts?
I felt like kind of had some Sherlock Holmes vibes to it a little bit.
Yeah, I give it that.
I was very like, I don't know, that part really intrigued me. I really liked that part about it. And I definitely liked that it was like a woman's spinoff instead of, like the typical, Watson and Holmes. It was two women instead. And I really liked that. And I liked the fact that that they were like superhuman kind of a little bit. And I liked that they had like this giant ass little girl. That was kind of cool. You know what I'm saying? Like there were certain things about it that I was like, like I'm no lie, I was getting kind of bored with it at first, in like the first 15 minutes. I'm not gonna lie, I was like playing in my phone, like looking up, playing in my phone, looking up. And then I saw that big bitch and I was like, oh, let me put my phone down. This is they got she's a big little woman. What? I was like so intrigued. Like I was like, oh shit, what's gonna happen with her? Can she like do some crazy shit? So no lie, certain things did intrigue me. I did think some of the acting was a little cheesy. I did like how the doctor was African American. I thought that was really cool that they made him black.
Jamaican.
A lot of people don't know that like there were black British people before they came to America. So I mean that's like if you look up history, you know what I'm saying? Like England and like they migrated over there before like we found it more acceptable here in America. So I thought that was kind of cool that they kind of gave us a little insight to that.
You say they migrated?
You know what I meant, bro. You know what I meant. Okay, I didn't want to go into. You know what I meant. Okay.
I'm watching the comments for TJ. I'm gonna see. I'm watching for TJ to pop up in the comments.
I know.
The tube over to England.
Okay, we've been kind of harsh through this whole.
Well,
thing.
Ty, it's
hey,
for 5,000 years.
To America too. We migrated to America too.
See, look, Gregory just said the first black British dude was Lennox Lewis. Everyone.
Yes.
I'm going to win the championship. I'm going to beat Mike Tyson.
Oh, sorry, that was so great. I couldn't let that one go. But I really I like certain things about the show and certain things. I'm with you on that, Vince. I know, TJ. I was doing that trying to be a little kosher, but I guess not. I should have just went raw with it. You know how James was like, Yaz is a savage.
We gotta fuck with you, it was on this very broadcast that I learned that black people have been struggling in America for 5,000 years. The first black man came to Louisiana via pterodactyl sometime in 3000 BC. And then left from here and migrated over to London.
Listen, I'm on like 6 hours of sleep. Leave me alone.
We're about to see the Chancletta leave Mati's screen and enter Yaz's screen. And just get her like Baron Zemo.
Fuck all that. Mati the one tell her that shit. Mati the one out there like, black people for 5,000 years, been here. And so we need to just respect each other and lose this color.
It was 500, not 5,000. My bad. I'm just like,
Yeah. I'm with TJ. Yep. The first
it.
black people were in London via Airbnb. So let's go ahead and make that up. But nah, man, I definitely agree with you on the Sherlock Holmes vibes. Like, you definitely got this Middle Eastern, but this mid century type of vibe where you're like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, it is pre-current day, celebratory type of setting. And you get some actors in here that I like you just got a glimpse of the dude who plays her star in this show I love, The Preacher. I don't know if y'all watch Preacher or not, but this dude,
yes,
so good.
Yes,
so yeah. And then we also have my man,
from Into the Badlands.
Yes, from the Badlands. I'm supposed to be better at this, man. Ty, we said we was gonna be better.
Yeah, I know, right?
You know who it is, man. Oh boy, from Nick
Frost.
Nick Frost. Yes, Nick Frost. Also from Shaun of the Dead and a lot of movies with Simon Pegg. And this old show called Hot Fuzz. Yes, Hot Fuzz. Great.
How do you forget Hot Fuzz, bro?
Hot Fuzz was awesome.
Classic British movie.
Definitely classic. There's this old show called Spaced Out, I think it's called, with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. It's like a 6-episode series. I definitely, if you're a Star Wars or a geek fan, it's like a sitcom based on two dudes that just it's like Friday for British people that are nerds. You know what I'm saying? Yes. It's really funny. But in this series, I am seeing potential. I'm not gonna lie, I am seeing potential. One of the things that I think is the dopest, frankly, is the concept. Because at first, me and Bad Ty, we were like, well, it looked like it might be magic based. And, I'm a little, if you watch, there's a show out called, I think, The Magicians, that I tried to watch, and I watched for like half a season. And I was like, all right, I'm kind of getting, because magic has no explanation really at the end of the day. It's just like, oh, magic, Dr. Strange, blah, blah. But this is based on a phenomenon of people that are referred to as the touched, right? Yep. And the touched, we come to find out, spoiler alert, by the towards the middle or end of the episode, that the touched isn't referred to. It isn't just what they call people trapped in R. Kelly's closet. It actually is referred to for people. There is some major monumental incident that takes place, of which we still don't have like a really good explanation of. Some big horse or some big thing comes into the sky. I don't know exactly what it is, Tyrone. I'm sure you probably have more info on it. But while it's flying through the sky, it's got all of these like little lightning bug, little sparkle thingies that are like just kind of just floating on the air, falling down like pixie dust. And those who are touched by it eventually one day wake up with powers, and those that are not do not have powers. So in an X-Men type of fashion, these folks would basically be like the mutant gene that is being injected into these folks by way of touch. Right. So their powers aren't all necessarily easy to depict. Like for the young lady who's the star of the show, Laura Donnelly or whatever, she is what some would call a clairvoyant type. Like she gets glimpses of the future. The lady in the pic that's next to her, but she can see electricity, which allows her to make inventions.
R was dope.
Yeah, so she made like the one of the opening scenes. We get to see them like frolicking through in what looks like a horse and carriage, which ultimately ends up breaking into what looks like one of the first electric Tesla vehicles, because it's tiny. Yeah, basically, you know what I'm saying, like a motorized carriage as they call it. Some people have powers like that are easily maintainable. Some of them have more ferocious powers, like the young lady right here, who basically look like she can light up. She has firestorm type powers, right? She's more of a traditional X-Men-esque type of power wielder.
Pyro.
The other, pyro, as opposed to the others that tend to have what look like mental issues. There's even a girl who, for whatever reason, can't get language straight after she was touched. So there's potential in this show, Mati, but I don't know if it's. I mean, the one thing it didn't have is like character arcs. I kind of like the villain a little bit. Ty was like, "Oh, that scene in the theater was cringeworthy." I kind of thought that scene was one of the better parts of the show, frankly, because it was finally dark. Like I was like, "This is real popcorn." I was talking to Yaz. I was like, "Yo, this show is like real popcorn." You know, it's like very Disney, like Saturday morning-esque. Until the young lady showed up at the theater and did what she did. So Mati, I'm curious as to your take on
it. It's funny that my daughter and I are so in sync because when I started watching it, it was like, okay, I have to adjust myself to listening in on their accent because it was like super strong. It's like listening from somebody from Boston compared to somebody from the Bronx. So,
right.
So that already told you the setting of the area, the geographical setting for it. But then it went slow, it went slow fast. And it wasn't until that little girl, because at first when they showed the little girl, I was like, okay, so the little girl's upset because she's not getting her way, blah, blah, blah. But when they showed her again after they brought the linguist, and that little girl stood up, I was like, oh, damn, hold up. What the hell? I was like, oh, snapple. And it caught my interest. And then I started focusing more of it. I saw it played out all the way. And then I went back to watch again just to see, because in the beginning of the show, it's showing you the engineer, the girl that sees the lightning. She was trying to pump the water out of the pump. I totally missed that whole thing with the clothespin, and I was like, "Wow, she did." If you watch Lemony Snicket's Unfortunate
series of
Adventures,
yeah,
it's like she took the ribbon in the hair and she thought real quick, and she MacGyvered it,
oh snap,
and hooked it up.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, I see that. It's new. I liked what I saw. It did get dark quick. The guy who played the Playboy, with his little orgy going, and those ivory chips, the club. Obviously, he's the villain because they're coming. What I got off, what I saw at the end. He's the guy that is procuring these girls at whatever means necessary for whatever endeavors that they're doing. And actually, in that time frame, and I forget what show it was I watched, that happened. People of nobility, they had their little dark side. They had the little secrets men's society or whatever, and they would kidnap girls off the streets to have these type of parties for the guys. It's like an Epstein thing, but over in Europe. So, call it like I see it, because that's what it was. And
Epstein thing, damn, name dropper.
I'm just saying. But it's just the show itself, it's got a lot of potential. It's got the Sherlock Holmes and Enola Holmes feel to it. I want to see what the next episode is going to show and where it's going to go. I'm still kind of on the fence. I love Jen. So that actress right there on the screen, she plays Jenny in my Outlander series that I religiously have been watching for 6 years. And she plays a great character. So seeing her, it took me a minute because I did get her confused at the very first, with the chick from Jessica Jones. And I was like, wait a minute, no, she's not that person. I was like, oh my God, that's Jenny. So now I have to watch just out of loyalty because of her acting abilities on my show. So it's going to take a minute. That whole flickering of the finger, that's what I kept watching for. Because I was like, oh, she's flickering, she's going to see something. So as soon as she starts twitching, I know something's going to come up. And trying to understand why, like she said, I don't know why we got to go to the opera or something, but we'll find out when we get there. So it's an interesting show. It's got potential. It's still very new. There's a lot of characters that they need to now give us a storyline on to see where it's going. So I like the way they just left it that far open, that vagueness that makes you say, now I got to come back because I want to find out if they're going to go into a little bit more detail into this person or that person or so. Well, I liked it. But yeah, like I said, in the beginning, I was like, and then that little girl stood up and I was like, oh, hold up. Okay, we got something. So then I let it play through, and then I went back to watch and I was like, oh, and I couldn't believe I missed that first few minutes. But again, because of the slow start to it. So
what's up, Ty?
like there was some really good nuggets in the show that like I want people to be aware of. The conversation at that round table, because this one of the things about this show that I saw is it really kind of what is the word? It really shows the patriarchy of like of like society then.
Yeah,
because what's his name? Pip Torrens, the guy from Preacher. He made comments like, he referenced the way that he looked at society and as a knife and sticking it halfway, like showing them, what you want them to see, and everything like that. And he made a reference to the people that were touched. He said women.
Yeah.
He said like I think he called them deviants, and immigrants. So like at that point he was saying that none of the higher, monarchy or patriarchy have gotten it, but for some reason the people who we deem less than were somehow able to get this. So this is an advantage.
Wow.
And this is a war. He was speaking. He said, this is a war on our power structure and how we have things, like how we got things set up. If these deviants and immigrants and women are somehow empowered in a way where they can start questioning our authority, then we have a problem, gentlemen. And that's what he was saying. Like I think, like when they was laughing, like, oh, it's women and it's deviants, which we can almost determine who he's speaking about with that. But like the fact that he mentioned that, and the fact that everybody at the table kind of at that point tuned in and was like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, we got it. I felt like he gave me vibes like old boy in that movie with Method Man where he was like, yo, we got to drop a dime on them niggas.
Oh yeah,
I'm dropping a dime on them. I don't like that shit. We gonna drop a dime on them. You know what I'm saying? Got to drop a dime. So that's kind of what I noticed, that like, and he was like, and he's like that all throughout. Like he's like he was talking about the employees and the employed. He was making comments like that, like like just talking about the conversation. He was like, yeah, you always went in unison with singing. He was like, yeah, you always hear one voice louder than the others, like, you know what I'm saying, like
harmony.
But the harmony. But he was like, yeah, but there's always one voice that's
higher
than
the other, higher and a lower. And
he's so he all throughout it, they're referencing these class systems, and how people are like, you have your women, which they're held low in regard. Then you have your immigrants, which you hold them in less regard. And then you have your quote unquote deviants. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm just saying, man, there's a lot to unpack with this Josh Whedon cut.
Yo, you go ahead, Tyrone.
Oh no, I was going to say to add to that, because that's the strength of the show is the whole like class warfare thing, and that scene at the end where kind of everybody is witness to this phenomenon, but only the touched kind of remember it and stuff, or they get the benefit of it. That was pretty much a direct metaphor for class consciousness. Once we're all awoken to the idea that even though we don't hold the power, as people, once we're all made to realize our power, and once we all can unify under that power, that's what scares the people who hold it. And that's the strength of the show. And if they really explore that, they can really do a lot with this show. It's right now I'm on the fence as to whether I think it's going to be able to do it at a level that like Falcon and Winter Soldier is with the race issue. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, that was all I had. I just want to add that in there.
Well, I mean, you both have kind of awoken me to the undertone of the show that I wasn't at first. I was like, okay, a bunch of girls get powers. Now I'm looking at it and I'm like, wait a minute. Everybody but white men get powers.
Except one.
Who's the one? Who the one?
The son of the lady who runs the orphanage. She's the lady who was sitting in the chair with the green dress. Lady
like a
something.
barrel fucking hand. Didn't we see a white dude with a barrel hand like shooting people and shit? And she done ripped that shit off of him and like fucked him up. That's another white dude that was. I mean, I'm just saying, like, isn't he like part of the?
His was. I don't know.
No, that's a machine-made product.
Yeah, I don't know if that's
a for himself.
Power. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's not
but with that being said, remember the people that got touched that have powers because remember the doctor has powers too.
Right.
So what they referenced in that whole round table meeting was that the people that have powers were women, immigrants, and deviants.
Right.
So why is it that the us as the higher class, we don't have it, but there's one individual of the higher class that does have it, which is the son of the lady that the two women work for, which is the
goofy one,
owns the orphanage, which her son is the same guy that had the conversation with I think his friend or whatever to invite him to the theater for the show. So, but when that girl started singing and the lights started going all throughout the theater, it went to him, and it basically that power that she has basically lets you know who the touched are, who's touched.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
that's what that is.
That's what that was.
I thought it was like a calming effect. I thought that it was meant to like make people calm down, or like I didn't understand exactly what was going on.
It was that as well. But what it also did was it illuminated all of the people that were touched, because you did see it making her calm down at one point, and then she had to close her mouth. She put her hands over her mouth like shut up, like stop singing, you know what I mean? So it was having some effect, but we found out later that the girl that was doing the killing, she's something else. She's not just a regular woman that just kills. Like she has something in her. There was some type of like fire in her eyes, and
she's connected to the main star. And that's what they were trying to say. It was like the pro and con, the yin and the yang. It's like it's her, but in the opposite direction of doing right and wrong.
Oh wow! That's how they could be sisters. We could find out later they're sisters.
Yeah.
So we think that the touched, the people that get the powers, the ones that actually are touched by the matter that came down from that entity that bust through the clouds. We think that they're not just given these gifts, but they're also given a place to reside in these gifts. Like there's literally a good and evil type of scenario going on here. Is that what you're saying, Mati?
Yeah, it's like the serum, good or bad. It's whatever you're in. It's going to enhance what you are or what's within you. So if you've got more good, like you said, you can't tell by looking at someone if they have good intentions or bad. It's until they act upon whatever they're doing that you find out which side of the fence they're sitting on.
I kind of disagree with that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that whatever that was that dropped is alien. It's some type of alien DNA or something like that, and almost like Venom. You know what I'm saying? Like it inhabits its a symbiote. So and the reason I think it is that is because remember when she was in the carriage and he put the knife to her face.
Oh yeah,
touch her face, and she said, "This isn't my face."
That was creepy.
No, that right there to me makes me believe that whatever was in that ship could have been like aliens, and when they touched you, they then inhabited your body, and they're the ones that actually have the power. I think we're gonna find that out later on.
But
I got something on that one. So when she said those words to him, and he, you look at her, she's petite, she's white, she's a woman. This is not my face. That's basically what most women are saying to everybody. Don't just assume that because I'm the fairer sex that I am weaker than you. My
Right.
mind can be a whole lot stronger than yours, and it'll jack you up from the inside out. Or I can have physical strength that you may not recognize, and I can still jack you up. So to the level of when am I going to snap? Because they do have a show on that. That will change the matrix of a woman. She can go from being mild-mannered, oh my God, Lois Lane, don't know, to She-Hulk. It's all a matter of how you are looking or how you think of a woman's, how they should be and what a woman inside feels. She can show you that whole, yes, darling. And then what the hell are you talking about? So you just never know. The circumstances will change everything. A woman, you don't really think about it. She does what she has to do to survive because she takes more of an abuse than the male. You see a big guy, you're going to be like, yeah, I think I'm just going to go that way. Why bother? You see a chick, you're going to be thinking, oh, I could take her, until your ass is on the floor because she wiped your ass with the floor, and then you're thinking, damn, I should have took the other route too. So when she said those words, yes, I got a chill. And I was like, that's deep because it's true. This is not my face. For years, since the beginning of time, a woman always wore a mask. You don't know her face until you've gone through what she's gone.
Yeah,
she's shielding it. You got to hide it from the kids because you never want your kids to know if you're going through difficulties.
Wow.
Like my son told me one time, my mom is Superwoman. She is always going to be that. You don't see the cape. It's there because that's what I had to do for my kids.
Word.
I had to show them, yeah, shit doesn't look cool, but we're going to get past this. Don't worry about it. I got you. That's the role of a woman. You're with your spouse, male or female, they're counting on you. You got to endure so many things, and you, for most part, take all the blunt and of the whatever's going on, and you don't want to extend it to them. So you put another face on. They call it hats, they call it faces. That's why she said, don't think this is my face. You don't know what's behind her. You don't know what she's thinking or going through.
Body, I get that concept, but this lady from the start of the show to that point has this level of, her demeanor doesn't show that at all. That's from what I've seen. Not only did when the doctor told her you don't request, or she said he was like, you don't ask the Fisher King or whatever his name is, whatever the king they call him, the beggar king.
Beggar King.
He was like, you don't ask the beggar king for an audience, and she was like, I'm not asking. So like her whole thing is, and even her confidence when she stepped into the room and answered the question that the young man couldn't answer. Like, I've been peeping this lady's whole demeanor throughout the show, and not once have I ever seen anything that she's shown as far as weakness. So I get what you're saying as far as conceptually, it makes sense. But when in that very moment, I don't think she's like at all saying anything about like, yo, this is just one of my faces. I think there's going to be at some point, we're going to realize that thing that was flying in the sky was a spaceship, and the inhabitants of the spaceship, were dispersing for whatever reason. Maybe somebody was chasing them or whatever the case may be. I don't know that part. But when those people are touched, and the fact that it only went into certain people, like the host had to be agreeable. And for some reason, in this time, the rich, older white men just don't seem like suitable hosts for whatever reason.
Oh, wow. So you think that there's a possibility that the touched aren't just people who have powers, but that those particles may have touched more than just these folks, and the only ones that are manifesting powers are the ones that they're considering the quote unquote downtrodden, or the lesser of the class system. So they have something inside of them that allows them to be more suitable as a host to the symbiotes.
Yeah, and even to take it a step further, from a religious standpoint, it almost goes back to like, the conception, like the whole thing about God and his return, and in his return, like there'll be a certain amount of people that are chosen, and that the other people who are not chosen will have to wear the mark of the beast and all of that kind of stuff like that. And in this, you see the difference being like that the humble, what you would consider the humble of the earth at that point, which would have been women, which would have been the immigrants, which would have been the so-called what was the deviants. So that it plays to a whole bigger picture when you look at the whole thing for what it is, and the fact that they are threatened and feel like it's war. Like there hasn't been one move in the direction of violence, but somehow their whole existence threatens everything that you've built up. And that's kind of what that whole discussion at that table was about, is we got to do something about them. We got to, what are we going to do about this? Because this cannot stand. We need to get them. We need to find out where they get their power. We need to take it and we need to give it to us because we're the ones that deserve it, not them. And that's what I heard at that table.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm getting a low key school of Professor X School for the Gifted vibes with the basis of the show, and I'm here for it. I mean, it frankly with
I know,
that's
right?
duality. That's duality right there.
I know, right? That's
You're not gonna get that everywhere.
Oh my God.
Thank you, Lisa, for showing how well diverse we are with content. But it's the truth. I think that this show has the potential as they expound on the villains and those folks. I think it'll be a little bit, because I did like the villains scene. I thought that she was devious enough. She freaked me out. The psychotic nature of her was like it authentically fucked me up. Like I was like, oh shit, like yo, this chick ain't playing. Like the dude's, whoa, it was pretty sick. So we will watch with great interest.
The cast is legit. I think if anything else, just looking at the cast, I mean, they got Dennis O'Hare, which who Dennis O'Hare is because you watch American Gods, and he was the dentist on American Gods. If you remember who that is, and
that's another show we can unpack.
Yeah, man, we need to. We've really been letting that one sleep for a long time. And you got Pip Torrens, you got Nick Frost, you got Ben Chaplin, who's the detective, who's actually a good job of his role. So Olivia Williams, you got a really good cast. So I think this is the cast alone, like.
It has like the vibe of the Sherlock Holmes and Sweeney Todd mix.
Yeah. With a little bit of
the singing.
Like I said, to quote General at the time Senator Palpatine, I will watch this show with development with great interest, and hope that it does get better. Not the worst debut, all right, wasn't bad, wasn't great, but wasn't bad. But it definitely is worth following. So we'll see what happens here. We're officially about to approach a 3-hour mark, which is even for us a little bit long.
Yeah, man.
So before we start to get up out of here, I just wanted to make sure everybody is aware. Quick announcement. We do have a little bit of breaking news here. A little bit of breaking news, if I may. As you all know, we are expected to be live at the Geek Easy in Winter Park in about 3 weeks. All right. We only have 20 seats available. All right. Only 20 seats available. We are social distance and we want to make sure people are wearing masks. We will also have masks at the door provided by one Yas, who is our official seamstress, embroiderer, sweatshop worker, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. But breaking news, y'all. I know it may not indicated by the flyer, but one Tyrone Thornhill will also be in attendance. Hallelujah. Thank you very much for deciding to come through, Ty. I guess that vaccine finally has settled in and has affected your brain.
Yeah, it got me feeling all kinds of, ready and invincible. I'm just gonna go. I'm kissing everybody. You guys better watch out.
Oh,
like, it's happening. Yeah.
Oh, yo, how'd your kids? How'd your wife?
No, I'm excited. I'm excited to be like hanging out with y'all. It's it was a tough decision, but yeah, getting vaccinated helped me reach that decision, and I'm looking forward to just being in the same spot with y'all, having a drink. TJ, I know TJ's gonna be there. We'll make this a good show. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
TJ, stop through. TJ, yeah. Well, Lisa, I'm glad you asked. To get on the list, you got to do what you just did, which is to inform me. we will put you on the list. Other than that, there will be in this upcoming few days, starting next week, there will be an Eventbrite in which you can simply go there to get the tickets. But for right now, everybody in before 8 o'clock is free anyway. So you want to solidify your seat, just get there now. Unfortunately, like I said, since it's 20 people, then it's first come, first serve. But if you have RSVP, Lisa, especially for Lisa, who is an avid supporter of all things.
Thank you, Lisa.
All things, Absolutely. Lisa. You are on the guest list.
Lisa.
Feel free to bring whoever you want. The entry is free. The COVID is free. The drinks are $80. We got to make our money somehow. Just kidding. But yeah, man. So, and TJ says he may even swing through, man. So we'll go ahead and we'll keep the show live until you get there, TJ. Definitely dope. By the way, TJ will be our special guest next week to discuss Mortal Kombat, which will be airing next Friday. So be sure y'all tune into that as well. We're going to unpack that. We're going to go ahead and get up out of here real quick. Make sure you all tune in to the Multiverse show on the new Blerd Order page, as well as Tyrone and Tyleem, where they discuss all things light skin. So make sure y'all don't forget about that. Any announcements, guys, on the way out, man? Anything else that we should know?
Yes, I have a shout out.
What's up, Yazzie?
I want to shout out to my cousin Michelle. Today is her birthday. Happy birthday, Michelle. From all the Blerds.
Birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Hey, congratulations on another birthday.
That's my starter niece she's talking about.
That's your what?
My starter niece.
Your starter.
Yes. Thank you.
First edition starter niece.
She broke the mood.
That's what it is. Tyrone, you gonna be anywhere? Any Zoom shows? Anything we can catch you on, homeboy?
I do have Zilla Vision coming up on the 27th. That's going to be an online show. It'll be on Twitch. So I'll get all that information and put on a new Blerd Order page and stuff. But I'll just take the rest of this little time here to just say the comment section has been getting better and better and better every week on the show. And that is, it's so cool that y'all keep showing up and engaging and interacting. And I'm loving seeing everybody's comments and stuff. It's real cool. So thank y'all for being here and for just watching and sticking through. That's cool.
Funny how he says that now that they bigging up the multiverse. He ain't say that nothing else, but since they bigging up your little show. No, I'm just kidding, of course. Yeah, big up to everybody in the comments. Jesse, Lisa, Tyrone, TJ. I want to call him Ty. And everybody. Even Minnie that was on the show a couple weeks ago. And we looking forward to having TJ back next week. Mm-hmm. Mati, any Legos, anything coming up anytime soon? What's going on?
Yeah, they came out with so many sets right now, and it's all on double points for those people who have like VIP. So I'm kind of like, you got to crimp and crunch your numbers to make sure that you're not breaking your bank. I'm working on a project right now, but Sesame Street on the 26th of April will hit their 50th anniversary. To me, that means a lot. It's very close to the heart for me because of them. I learned to speak English the way I do. Yeah. So my first language was Spanish, and that's the only thing my parents taught me to speak. I understood English. I just didn't want to speak it. But Sesame Street, Electric Company, all of those public broadcasting shows was how I learned my math, my phonics, my English, a lot of things behind the scenes. And my brother, who supports my Lego passion, has gifted me this year my set. And I asked him for the 1, 2, 3 Sesame Street set. So I'm going to have to hurry up and get it built so that I can start taking some pictures in homage of the anniversary, the 50th anniversary, which that surprised me because I'm like, oh my God. So we were like in the same area for growing up. So I was growing up with Sesame Street. Literally, I passed it down to my kids, to my grandchildren, my godsons. So anytime I have kids around, I'll plug Elmo on that TV so quick because you learn.
Well, Monty, FYI, HBO Max has the entire seasons from 1 all the way to the end of Sesame Street streaming on HBO Max. Yes,
Nice.
HBO Max. Vince's most hated.
Typing it up again, Vince. You hear him?
I don't hate it.
Yeah.
Who's gonna go back and binge watch Sesame Street?
Actually,
Like,
you want to know what? You want to know something that she just said? I let my kids watch Sesame Street, and damn, if she's not lying, they pick up on that shit like that, like just like I'm talking about, like that. To watch it now, it was so detailed and so just easy for kids to just digest. Oh man, like out of all of the shit that comes on right now, put on some old Sesame Street. I guarantee you, it'll teach you.
Yeah, the older one. Right now, they, Cookie Monster being a veggie monster. I'm like, come on, guys, don't. If it wasn't broken, don't try to fix it. Bert and Ernie, they're two homies. That's all it is. Don't try to give labels to stuff.
It was
That's
broken.
why I got a little upset. Huh?
Yeah, Monty, you know how many cavities resulted as a result of that?
You know what?
Cookie Monster.
Okay, with cavities, but did you see obesity? No.
Yes.
Yes.
Hold on.
Do you looked at America
Hold on.
No, I'm talking about when I was growing up, when Sesame Street started, that all started coming in later.
Mom,
back
if I do recall, hold on, I got one for y'all. If I do recall, the chunkiest kid out of all of the kids in our family had a fucking official Cookie Monster outfit that he wore all the time.
Damn.
Yes, my idol.
He had no ankles. He had no wrists. He had 3 chins. He was the
that was the defense's star witness, and they just blew your case out of it.
Oh man,
the Cookie Monster outfit. So wait a minute, you weren't promoting obesity at that point.
Oh,
okay,
wow.
I'm sorry, Jonathan, if you're watching this. I just called Jazz out on the dating photo. But
Sunday dinner is gonna be crazy.
But listen to what I said. I said back when
rules.
I was growing up, we didn't do that because Sesame Street promoted for you to go out into your neighborhood and do stuff to get to know stuff with your kids. Your bicycle was your limousine. I'm just saying.
And that's and let's be clear, that's the parenting. Like, man, like if you sit there and let your kid eat the whole fucking jar of cookies, then goddamn it, like come on, because that's what Cookie Monster's doing. He's eating all the cookies till they're gone. So if you sit there and let your kid do that, that ain't have shit to do with Cookie Monster. That got shit to do
when he's done and he licks his fingers, I always thought he was gonna bite one of them motherfuckers off when he's like licking his fingers, from the cookies. That shit used to creep me out. I'm like, he's gonna bite one of them. He'd be like, I'm like, his fingers literally like were in his mouth and he's chewing.
We are about to do an hour on Sesame Street.
Like he was serious about that shit, bro. Like hardcore.
If I didn't know any better, I would think that Cookie Monster behind the scenes chops up the cookies and sniffs them, lines of them as fiendish as he comes across. And I'm still trying to figure out how Mati learned English. Because the show was in English, so it's not like Cookie Monster. Hey, yo tengo hambre. Donde están mis cookies?
And how Antonio Banderas picked up Arabic from the people who kept him as a prisoner. You listen and you pick up. So that's what it was. I have him in Lego now.
Did you just read this comment from Les White?
Please contact the real Vince Taylor at I am Elmo for real. Like / hashtag Sesame Street rules. But nah, real talk though. That like I just put it on for my kids the other day. I saw it with my own eyes. What she's saying is the truth because my daughter was in here like watching it and let's be clear also, Cookie Monster hates cookies. He hates them. That motherfucker's never swallowed one fucking cookie from me. That motherfucker, all he does is make a fucking mess. He be like, that shit never makes it in his mouth. Always, like I know when some shit tastes nasty, that's what I do too. I be like, that shit up to the side. Cookie Monster hates cookies. This misconception that he loves cookies. Really, to be honest, Cookie Monster is just a very polite guy. He's like Tyrone. He's like Tyrone. If you offer it to him, he's not going to say no because it goes against his niceness, complex. So Cookie Monster just always accepts this shit and just be like, and just throws your shit on the floor. So just be clear.
Word.
Nice.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that clarification, Ty.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to represent people who don't represent themselves. I'm trying to be a voice for the voice.
I feel like Cookie Monster is a prime example of like what happens when you become an addict. They say sugar is the worst drug.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know.
Because I do
James
look, Snickers. Look at him with his Snickers.
I don't see nothing wrong with a little diabetes.
Yeah.
All right, look, man, we got to go. We going on 3 hours. We never went this long before. And I blame Cookie Monster. One time, and by the way, there's a comment that said something about you never have Caucasians on the show. I will have you know that half of Tyrone is white, okay? And not only white, but British white.
Yeah,
you know
and Daniel Biddle was on here, but also that racial shit cuts both ways. No, it doesn't. No, it absolutely does not. So we'll go ahead and just cut that off right at the
You go ahead and just
that's a whole nother hour right there.
And Russo was on here too, and Russo identifies as black even though he's not. But
the actor that was on
Adam Murray. Yeah. So maybe you should tune in more or less.
What's up?
Hey, yo, I feel like we have to like defend our I have white friends.
You know, hold on a minute.
Wait a minute. If we're classifying anywhere any kind of racist, I'm marrying a white man. So let's get that straight. I'm marrying a white man.
With a white man.
Yeah. I'm I'm the darkest one here. And what does that say? You know what I'm saying? No, let's get this real. But anyway, but thank you for watching anyway. I suggest you watch some of the prior shows since you asked. They are available on YouTube. So check those out. But I'll go ahead and let us go for this week if we don't mind, because this shit's starting to feel like a slumber party. I ain't gonna lie. I got blunts to smoke.
On that note, Vince, we are on, guys, you can watch us on YouTube. We're also on Instagram. We are also on Facebook. We'll be on Spotify soon. And actually, we are starting our own Patreon. And very soon, we're going to have official New Blerd Order merchandise.
Yes.
Stay tuned.
I got mine. I didn't wear it.
Why aren't you wearing it?
It's okay.
I should have. You know what? I had.
Okay.
Oh,
we're gonna let that go.
Yeah.
The way my wardrobe set up.
I done went and drove for you.
You're right. I messed up. My bad. I'm a cook. I'm a clean. I got you. I'm a you held it down. All right, but yeah, that's Vince. I mean, that's Vince. That's Ty. That's Ty. That's Monty. That's the bad Ty, and that is Yaz. And of course, I am the real Vince Taylor. Make sure y'all check us out next week. We will be back discussing all things Blerd and Blerd related, and keep it locked because we will be doing our Star Wars Blerd cast on May the 4th, where we have a whole array of folks coming to discuss all things Star Wars. But that's
our Multiverse Wednesday, 6:30 on Facebook. We'll be here for it.
Is that God?
That was Mephisto talking just now. Anyway, y'all guys, appreciate y'all. Make sure as you do everything that you do during the week, you're authentic. You're your authentic self. Don't ever change yourself. You're great who you are. You are enough. If you're not being yourself, you're being fake. And in all things, like we always say, let that geek flag fly. I did it again.
Fighter 2, I just really hate Zangief on the Ken and Rock 2. I find it hard to be Blanca, keep a wee ninja hanging and the uncle album banging. If you negative in energy, then stay out the vicinity. Yeah, them niggas over there. Yeah, now look at what I wear.